Hey y'all, it's Rad Lad. Welcome back to the life and suffering of Sir Brante. Let's hop right into it.
A full adult now, I returned from the capital a changed man. Yet, my hometown was not the same as I had left it. Fate had difficult times in store for all of us.
Alright, Chapter 4, Peacetime. As the carriage wheels clock a steady rhythm over the cobblestone, you watch the lands of Megra, rendered dry and desolate by ancient magic, sail by the window. You are back in your own province, but you are no longer the boy who left it by this very road 4 years ago. You return a nobleman and a judge. You are continuing the family trade. You have returned to serve as the province's prefecture. Your home, Anazote, is but a few hours away along this dusty road. The carriage is stuffy and hot from the sun, even with the thick blinders shut tight. It is a familiar heat, but you will now need to get used to it again. The heat weighs heavy on you, but it also reminds you of your childhood. You will see your family again soon. To pass the time before you return home, you read your father's most recent letter. Again and again, you carefully reread your father's uneasy words, steeling yourself for the first real job and the service that awaits. Dear Rad, I anxiously await your return, my son. You are the third judge in our bloodline, the pride of our family. Yet, these are hard times for a judge. By the Emperor's decree, Archduke Tarquinius Melanitis is no longer the overseer of Megra. The new overseer is the Emperor's own brother, Gaius Tempest, and now our province has been split by enmity and strife between the Archduke and the overseer. The nobles have split into two factions, and so too have the commoners. Some side with Archduke, loyal to their liege, loyal to their liege, and determined to follow the traditions of old. Yet many judges and officials are eager to side with Gaius Tempest as the new overseer. Compared to his brother Cornelius, he is less radical and more cautious, but he too seeks to transform the empire and bring the estates to peace. Yet other Archnians are outraged that Archduke Melanitis has been deposed. One among them is Dorius Auden, High Commander of Megra. Although Auden and his men are sworn to serve Gaius Tempest and follow his orders, it is no secret that his loyalty remains with the Archduke. While Gaius and the Archduke are at odds, there has been no open confrontation, yet. I fear their patience may one day run dry. As for the judges at the prefecture, every day we reel with more and more litigation between nobles and commoners. Yet there are no imperial laws that clearly formalize the rights of all three states. Wisdom, honor, and conscience are every judge's best advisors these days. You made the choice to serve the law, and you will have your work cut out for you. You will answer directly to Prefect Augustine Elborn, a long-standing friend of the family. He needs strong allies now more than ever. With the support of such people as you and I, the prefect intends to alter the fate of our province. I am looking forward to seeing you back in Anazote, Rad. You put the letter back in your pocket. The walls of Anazote have finally emerged on the horizon. A challenging job at the prefecture awaits you. But first, you are going home.
Year 1138.
The carriage stops. The familiar gate, your bedroom window, the same one you used to climb out of at night from time to time. The well-tended garden with its imported soil. Delightful greenery and mother's beloved violet irises. The porch you used to jump off of when you were little. You are home. You touch the handle of the front door and halt for a moment. It has been 4 years since you left for Eterna, but it feels like yesterday. The air inside is cool, as usual. Father cannot stand his stuffy room and insists on constantly airing out the house. You hear hurried footsteps coming from the direction of Father's study. Before you have time to take off your traveling cloak, you are crushed in Stefan's strong embrace. Hey, finally! Your brother has grown taller and more broad-shouldered. When he detaches himself from you, you notice how harsh his features have become. He looks even more like grandfather now. He's a grown-up guy. You've grown so much over the last 4 years, Rad. Just look at you. You left a low-born boy, but you've come back, Sir Brante. I'm so glad you joined us in this noble estate. You respond by giving your brother a wrapped gift. Stefan unwraps it carefully. When he sees the sword, a boyish smile appears on his stern face. It's beautiful. What a wonderful gift, brother. Maybe I should start a collection. What do you think? There's no hurry, Stefan. And now let me have a look at the prefecture's new judge. Father approaches you, his hand extended. You shake it and wrap your arms around him. Father looks older, his back is hunched, and he squints. There are deep lines around his mouth and silver threads in his dark hair and mustache. Taking a step back, Father examines you from head to toe. What a fine posture. You had excellent teachers. I'm so proud you made it, son. Mother comes out of the living room, leaning on Nathan's arm. You immediately see signs of the illness you read about in the letters from home. Her back is bent, her hair is gray, a thin web of wrinkles covers her face, and her complexion has lost its color. She can barely stand, unassisted. Nathan leads Mother to you. Slowly, very delicately, she embraces you. You press your face into her shoulder, breathing in the nearly forgotten, dearly beloved smell. Mother holds your shoulders and studies your face for a long time. You've been away for so long, son. How you've grown. Just a short while ago, I was cradling you in my arms. You look so much like your father when he was your age. Sir Rad, Brante. Nathan approaches you next. Your younger brother is now as tall as you are, and his hair almost reaches his shoulders. But he still has the same lost look in his eye he had when he was a boy. And here's your ne'er-do-well little brother. He hasn't changed a bit or grown an inch after all this time. He couldn't get into the seminary, so he just hangs around. Nathan lets out a heavy sigh and awkwardly puts his arms around you. I'm glad to see you back, Rad. Home just hasn't been the same without you. You hear a snort behind you. Everyone turns. At the top of the stairs stands Gloria, her arms across her chest. She is dressed as a man, in culottes, a frock coat, and a necktie with a massive pin. The entire family waits for her to greet you. Stefan shakes his head disapprovingly. Your sister descends as if forcing herself to do it. A few steps away from you, Gloria steps and bows. Welcome to your home, Sir Brante. Your sister looks thinner and leaner than she used to. She has dark circles under her eyes, as though she has been sleeping too little or crying too much. Enough pleasantries. Come on in. The table is set. Lydia has prepared a veritable feast for you. Wait, she's still cooking? She's sick as hell. For the first time in years, the entire family is together. You can finally spend some time with another member of your family today. Go talk to Mom. At the table, you cautiously ask your mother about her health. Oh, it's nothing, Rad. I have no complaints. I've just been a little weak lately. It happens at my age. I humbly accept whatever fate the twin gods have chosen for me. After these words, she stops abruptly and lifts her eyes. Father cuts in. You know, son, you should tell us about your life in the capital. Have you made any useful acquaintances? Our family could do with some good connections right now. You said in one of your letters that you've laid your eyes on the Imperial family. What are they like, the Tempests? You have to relate the 4 years you spent in Eterna. Only later that night, while talking to Nathan on the back porch, do you learn more about Mother's health. I'll be frank with you. Mother isn't doing so well. Gloria and I do our best not to leave her alone. You can ask her questions, but her answers often don't make any sense. And she keeps falling silent in the middle of a conversation, like she did today. Her illness is consuming her. You know, if Mother passes, she may not be reborn. I dread to think that will become of a father then, and of Gloria. Gloria had a hard time of it lately, too. Stefan has treated her like dirt for the last year. I think he plans to drive her out of the house so her origins don't taint the Brante name anymore. Stefan only cares about one thing now, getting our family ennobled by the sword. So for him, Gloria is just an obstacle between him and his goal. You spend quite some time in silence, gazing at the radiant stripe of the shining pillar as it grows more and more luminous against the darkening sky. The Brante family is about to face some challenging times. Your service as a judge begins today. You get dressed early in the morning, donning a brand new jacket with a cravat and hat. It's an immaculate look, if you dare say so yourself. You head to the prefecture with Father. The prefecture moved recently. It now occupies a massive new building of white sandstone in the very center of Anazote. A stone statue looms above it, the sword of the younger twin, the divine law that directs worldly judgment. All legal disputes in the province are to be resolved here. You and Father walk up the marble stairs past the commoners, merchants, and lesser nobles, all petitioners and litigants, huddled by the pillars. Well now, my son, here you shall begin your service to the Empire, in the midst of this great struggle I told you about. If you don't mind a little advice, you will serve under Sir Elborn. Follow my example and stay close to your superior. He is a human of great worth and practically your relative. You walk past the courtroom and up to the second floor, where judges work in their offices and receive petitioners. The corridors are many and narrow, filled with the smell of old papers and the sounds of muffled, mumbling voices and secretaries and gendarmes running to and fro. Father guides you down a corridor that ends with the door to Sir Elborn's office. Rad, it is time for you to stand before the prefect. Remember the friendships between our families. You knock and enter. The spacious oak-paneled office is not without decoration, yet its adornments are tasteful and elegant rather than garish. The flag of Megra, bearing the silver tree, hangs on the wall. Behind an imposing desk sits Baron Augustine Elborn. Surrounded by papers, his face wears a focused expression you recall from his visits in the past. Although it is more wrinkled than you remember, he looks up and his face comes to life. He rises and extends a hand to you. Why, young Rad Brante, what a pleasure it is to see you again. I see your years at the capital have turned you into a stately young man. I was told you proved yourself quite capable at the college. The city of Anazote needs worthy judges who know their craft now more than ever. Allow me to welcome you into service for the good of the Empire. I'm sure you already know the basics of judicial work. Serving at the prefecture, however, takes more than finding your way through our laws. Although they're quite labyrinthine and contradictory, there's no denying that. Anywhere you look in our province, you will see friction between the estates, old noble blood, new nobles, rich commoners, poor commoners. They all have their legal disputes. And we judges work here to make sure this pot never boils over. If we are too eager to follow the traditions of old and bow to noble privilege, the common estate will grow desperate and lose all hope for freedom. But if we openly side with the commoners, the nobles' heir will be quick to find us. And so, Judge Brante, I ask you to be wary and wise. Peace hangs by a thread in this province. Carefully consider every decision you make at court before rendering your verdict. But first, you need to get accustomed to your new position. You shall begin at once! The prefecture has already assigned you a number of legal proceedings to review and judge. Your office is ready and waiting for you, Sir Brante. The instructions are over. The work begins. You recognize your new office by the brass plate on the door reading Sir Brante, Judge. You find it rather cramped on the inside, yet still reasonably comfortable. The sturdy desk has all the stationery you need. Behind the desk is a large chair of carved wood, and in front of it are several smaller chairs for petitioners. Heavy curtains hang over the window, worthy opponents for the morning light trying to shine through. There are papers on the desk already, including instructions, orders, rulings, and all sorts of other prefecture paperwork. You are about to begin when you hear a sudden knock at the door. The source of the disturbance turns out to be a stout, smartly dressed young nobleman. He greets you with an elegant bow you would not have expected from such a sizable individual. Sir Brante, congratulations on your first day of service. Allow me to introduce myself. Judge Carlo Graben, a humble servant of the law like yourself. It is my hopes that we will become fast friends. And if I may, a word of warning to help your work progress smoothly. As a token of our future friendship, I am aware that Sir Alborn is your immediate superior. As a loyal servant of the Empire, you will, of course, take his word as your guide. Yet there is no reason to neglect all the other judges at the prefecture, all of whom are noblemen of great worth. Their guidance will most certainly aid you as a judge. It will be my pleasure, Sir Brante, to facilitate your introduction to the noble judges at the prefecture as soon as possible. I see glory in your future service to the Empire. Yet it certainly cannot hurt to receive reassurance and support when you might need it most. I shall not detain you any longer, but if you wish to make some valuable connections, my office is right across from your own. Another elegant bow from Judge Graben, and the door closes. You are alone at your desk once again. The scorching sun is rising above or over the province behind the window. Today is an important day, the day when you are to take your first steps in your profession. What will your focus be on today? We'll do that. For a while, you busy yourself with paperwork and upcoming cases, until you remember that Father's office is right next to yours. He used to help you master the intricacies of imperial law at school. Perhaps you could benefit from his experience and guidance now. You shift the case folders aside and walk out of your office. Your father is in his office, standing at the window with a deeply pensive look. The subject of his thought is in his hand, a letter bearing the Archduke's seal. He turns around and pats you on the shoulder, then asks you about your meeting with Sir Alborn. A few moments later, you ask him to give you some advice and fill you in on the situation of the prefecture. My son, you'd best be wary for now. Sir Alborn will be watching you closely, but this is certainly understandable. The prefect's views have made his position rather tenuous. Only a handful of judges at the prefecture have sided with him fully, and I am one of them. Yet even I would not dare draw the ear of those above us and risk our family's welfare. When a noble and a commoner clash in the courtroom these days, the court almost always sides with the noble, no matter the circumstances. Even if the commoner is wealthy, the courts are not on his side. The judges rely upon the rule of law if and only if both parties hail from the common estate. Sir Alborn aims to change this. Little by little, he is eager to ensure that imperial law applies to all three estates in equal measure. But there are many who oppose him, from Archduke Melanidas and his loyal commander Otten to our own fellow judges. Okay. Right now, Sir Born enjoys the backing of Gaius Tempest, but the Imperial Overseer may abandon him at any moment. So here is my word of advice to you. Be careful. Help Sir Born bring the nobles under Imperial law, but do not draw the ear of the other judges. Remember, more than just your career depends upon your verdicts. Even a single careless judgment may be enough to bring our family into disfavor. It was wise of you to ask for my advice before rendering verdicts on your own. I'm sure you will be able to tackle any issue you might encounter. After all, we've prepared you for this ever since you were a child. The discussion continues. Father shares his own experience of careful siding with the common estate whenever possible, while properly respecting the privileges of the nobility. Even a partial victory in such a legal dispute comes as great surprise to any commoner. Soon, the vermilion rays of the setting sun fill Father's office. Your workday has come to an end. As you walk through the corridors with your father, you see the other judges watching you closely. There is a knowing look about them. Sir Falkgraben, your new acquaintance, is one of the judges. Sir Brante Sr., Sir Brante Jr., good evening to you. It is a joy to see a son following in his father's footsteps, both in and out of the courtroom, I assume. I still believe you would do well to take me up on my offer. Grown men needn't cling to his father's coattails, although the decision is yours, of course. Falkgraben follows you with a courteous farewell and a nod. Father nods to him, reservedly, keeping his emotions perfectly in check. Your first day at the prefecture has ended. A carriage is waiting outside to take you both back home. Alright, so I went back and I'm going to get acquainted with the judges because I need my career more than I need justice right now. Because I feel like it's more snobby to care about my future, right? So you saw a glimpse of that, of that other reality, the multiverse, but we're going to go with this one. This is our true path. Sir Falkgraben's offer seems rather reasonable now that you think about it. You dedicate some time to the cases and necessary paperwork, then shift the case folders aside and walk to the office across from yours. Judge Falkgraben greets you warmly. Sir Brante, how splendid of you to stop by. Come, let's pay a few visits to the most distinguished of your new colleagues. I'm sure they will be delighted to make the acquaintance of such a promising young man. With that, Falkgraben leads you through the corridors of the prefecture. As you walk down the hall, he starts mentioning other judges by name and origin, age and experience, power and influence. You stop by a number of other judges' offices. Hours pass in dignified greetings, bowing, pats on the shoulder, and courteous conversation. One after another, the judges make it quite clear to you that when a noble and a commoner clash in the courtroom, the court is to side with the noble every time. No matter how affluent the commoner may be, only when both parties hail from the common estate may a judge fully rely upon the rule of law. Before you know it, your first day at the prefecture is over. Just look at how much you've accomplished in just one day, Brante. So many experienced judges, and you've made a splendid impression on all of them. Your future is all but assured now, I guarantee it. But remember, courteous words are not the only thing that matters at the prefecture. Your decisions will not go unnoticed. Rad, my friend, I greatly hope your youthful exuberance will not result in any gaffes that may hinder our mutual effort at maintaining order in our province. Act with wisdom in mind, especially when the wisdom of your colleagues is always within reach. You say farewell to the elegant, affable judge and walk to the carriage outside waiting to take you home. With so many useful acquaintances made at the prefecture today, your career will surely prosper. However, there is a burden of expectation on you. They want you to fall in line and side with noble privilege without a second thought. However, the conflict between the noble and common estates is growing tenser by the day. It will only become harder to uphold the law in the future. You come back home after a short stroll through the city. As soon as you set foot in the house, you are greeted by Stefan, who invites you to have a talk in Father's office. When you enter the room, Father has a heap of letters in front of him and is signing them one after another. Son, Stefan and I must discuss an important matter with you. While you were in the capital, our family formally petitioned the overseer to grant us the nobility of the sword. We have 3 generations of noble blood already. We have the right to make our nobility hereditary. Your grandfather took the first steps towards the nobility of the sword as soon as Stefan was born. And now we are on the brink of becoming the Brontes. If Overseer Gaius Tempest and the nobles of the province seem us worthy, we will receive our hereditary title. All nobles of the Brante family will remain noble forever, as will their descendants. Father and I do our utmost to maintain the family's position, but our goal can be reached only if our reputation remains unblemished in the eyes of high society. The nobility is watching our every step. Father lays a hand on your shoulder. Now this is your cause too. The future of our family depends on it. We need an inestimable reputation and wealth. Everyone bearing the name of Brante affects it. Remember that with every action you take, Rad. You will have to appear before Anazote High Society. We're going to host a reception for the nobility at our home soon. You must uphold the honor of our family, brother. You'll relate the news from Eterna to our guest and present yourself in a favorable light. With Stefan at the helm, the entire family spends a full week preparing for the majestic reception. The house is flooded with decorations and new tableware. Delicacies are cooking in the kitchen round the clock, and the napkins now bear an embroidered oak branch and chains, the Brante family crest. Gloria is the only one to neglect the common cause. Were it's up to me, I wouldn't be seen at this hypocritical gathering, but I don't want to let Sir Robert down. He's the only reason I plan to stay for the event. The evening of the reception has come. Dignified conversations and the clinking of glasses fill the house. Among your guests are many high-born, powerful people. Your father and Stefan dance from guest to guest, making sure no one is overlooked. Young Rad, how splendid to see you. So, what was your time in the capital like? You exchanged pleasantries with a high-placed relative. Meanwhile, Gloria and Mother spend the evening on a settee by the wall without drawing any attention. Neither your father nor your elder brother introduced them to the noble guests. Still, one of the guests, a young nobleman of the sword named Jose El Pelletier, keeps staring at Gloria in fascination. Wow! Your sister averts her eyes, bemused. Really? Didn't I meet this guy? Lady Gloria. Or, no, I read about him or something. Lady Gloria. No, I can't give him that voice. Lady Gloria. You are the true gem of the evening. You look so marvelously daring. I haven't seen your like, even in the capital. When you walk past Gloria, you hear her hurried whisper. Rad, please talk to me. This Sir El Peltier keeps following me. I feel uneasy. What does he even want from me? I'm just a lowly commoner. Come with me to the other side of the room, although I'll probably stand out amongst all the refined nobles. Look, it's Durante the painter. I wonder what's brought him so far from the capital. It would be fabulous if he could paint our family portrait. We should all be on canvas together. We're one big, happy family after all. Wine glass in hand, you cast a look across the crowded room. It is time to choose how you will spend the evening. And how like me, a selfish noble, to talk about myself. The moment you approach Stefan, he links elbows with you and leads you to the most prestigious place by the table, where the most eminent of the guests are seated. May I present to you my younger brother, Rad Brante. He's just returned from the capital, where he was ennobled by the mantle. Rad, why don't you entertain our guest with some stories from Eterna? You make a courtly introduction and describe recent noteworthy events in the capital. So, celebration of the heir's coming of age, the attempt by Gaius Tempest to enshrine in law the rights of nobles of the mantle. Patriarch Luke's sermon. Then you mentioned the big tournament at the end of your term in the college. Intense battles, the most skilled fighters, an elite audience. The nobles, intrigued, urge you to reveal the winner. You show them the ribbon that was tied around your sword by none other than the daughter of the Archduke, Octavia Melanitis. The crowd murmurs approvingly. With a wry smile, Jose Palidier takes a step forward. He was your adversary. Yeah, that's right. He was the guy I fought. He was your adversary in the last duel. Oh my god, that's awesome. You exchanged some pleasantries with your former fellow student. El Pelletier returned from the capital a short time before your arrival and has an important position at the city hall. That's awesome. Wait, we get a bond over that? I don't know why that tickles my fancy so much. I feel so, like, ecstatic from that. The young nobles observe you with envy. The older guests reminisce about the duels of bygone days and predict a brilliant future for you. Stefan is radiant. I see you haven't wasted your time in the capital. Well, we'll ensure that you become famous all over Anazote. You and your family. Our family. I don't know why I made him Australian, but I did. Yeah. Yeah, look at that reputation. Yeah, renowned among nobles. Yeah. It's my party dance. A rock in a hard place. The Brante home has been uneasy for several months now. With father traveling all over the province for his judicial duties, the animosity between Stefan and Gloria has grown into a full-blown feud. Your elder brother tries to use his position as heir to keep his sister in check and make her behave in accordance with her estate. Gloria repudiates his authority. Their fights rock the house on a daily basis. Eventually, after returning from his latest trip, father gathers Stefan, Gloria, Nathan, and you in his office. His somber look portends a difficult conversation. Stefan gazes at his father defiantly. Gloria is poised to lash out and run away. Nathan quietly keeps to the side. Children, for a long time now, our family has been striving to become nobles of the sword. Every noble member of the Brante family will gain a hereditary title. This is your grandfather's dying wish. Gloria sighs loudly. Then why am I here, Sir Robert? She's right. This is a Brante matter. Wait until I finish, Stefan. I'm still the head of this household. If you are truly so concerned about honor, show your father some respect. It can't be helped. Not all of us are noble, but now we must unite as never before. We must work together to protect the reputation and wealth of this family. But you, Stefan, perpetually humiliate Gloria. Father, all I'm trying to do is put her in her place. You know perfectly well the consequences of any attention Gloria might attract. Our every step is being observed. The nobles will make pariahs of our family for all eternity if they remember Gloria's filthy origins and your reckless marriage to Lydia. Father turns red in the face, but with considerable effort he remains composed. That is so. Our grandfather did everything in his power to remedy your mistakes. Please, Father, don't repeat them. Gloria speaks up. I'm just trying to live, Sir Robert, but Stefan wants to lock me in a cage so nobody will ever lay eyes on me. That's not it at all. You're lowborn, but you don't live by your lot. You do whatever takes your fancy. You're constantly grumbling about the order of things. Did you know, Father, that she defies all prohibitions by continuing to write poetry? As far as you're concerned, anyone who contradicts you is an insurgent. Well then, when will you grasp the idea that you may not argue with a nobleman? I am the heir of the family, and your word is your law, or my word is your law. Oh shit. Purple with rage, Father slams his fist on the table. It is rare to see him so furious. Both your elder brother and sister instantly fall silent. Frightened, Nathan shrinks into the corner. Hold your tongues, both of you. Let Rad speak. He has witnessed your quarrels. He should know best which of you is in the right. You sternly reprimand Gloria. Your sister has forgotten her lot. She's ungrateful to the family she owes everything to. The Brontes gave her shelter, security, and a place in the world. Why does she insist on destroying it with her own hands? Gloria flushes with indignation. So disrespecting my family means spending my life sitting quietly in a corner? Is that what you're saying, brother? You cut her rant short. You remind Gloria that you live in the Empire, where everyone has a lot and a place. Your sister cannot jeopardize the family's well-being just because she is unhappy with the ways of the world. Rad is right, Gloria. I am not fully content with the order of things either. As a judge, I struggle daily to ease the burden of the commoners. But I am responsible for your good name, and that of our entire family. So I ask of you, no, I demand, do not take part in any dangerous gatherings, and at least in public. Please comport yourself with modesty, as your humble origins require. Very well, Sir Brante. With these quiet words, Gloria, dispirited, retreats to her room. She doesn't even glance at you. Your father sighs heavily as he watches her go. At least she listened. Don't worry, Rad. Let her sulk a little on her own. At least she won't cause any more trouble for the family. Father agrees, but stays behind in his office, looking downhearted. Hostility. Oh shit. Gloria does not come down to dinner. For the entire next day, she does not utter a single word. But I'm not really worried about my unity with the family. I feel like it's all about me and my position in the world. It is the morning of a very sultry day, and you are back at the office. You are beginning to get used to the duties of your new profession. Father visits you on the job now, and then to see your progress and provide advice. But by now, he is confident you can handle the work on your own. Today is your first case, assigned by the prefect himself. From the comfort of your chair, you go through the facts and circumstances of the case. The matter seems simple at first, seeking some desperately needed financial gain. A noble from the less than wealthy El Avia family rented out a sizable portion of his estate to a well-off commoner by the name of Basil Jung. All the rent payments are in order, and there is plenty of time left before the lease is set to expire. But the commoner built a very large dye works on the estate, and then El Avia suddenly filed a case with the prefecture to evict him. The rental agreement specifically states that the commoner Jung has the right to construct any building on the land. The noble landowner, however, thinks he has the final say on the construction, since the land belongs to him. Basil Jung, on the other hand, has refused to vacate the rented land since the term of the agreement has not expired. Both parties are to appear at the prefecture to hear your decision. The litigant Sir Avia enters first. He's an aging noble who dresses far too colorfully for his years. He walks into your office with confidence and sits in front of you. The next man to enter is Basil Jung, a heavy-set man with a thick beard, clothed in an old jacket and clutching a hat. He stands by your desk and bows to you. Sir El Avia does not hesitate to speak first. Your Honor, I demand you drive the commoner Jung from my land. His dye works is a noisy, nasty, ugly building, and I refuse to have it on my property. My family already had to endure their warehouses and their filthy workers right by our own estate. But this is simply beyond the pale. Either the court says the dye works must be demolished, or I, Gustave Elavia, will do it myself. You ask Sir Avia to compose himself and tell the commoner to give his statement. Basil Jung gives his account, speaking in a deep, gruff bass. Your Honor, it cost me all my money to build the dye works. The contract says it clear. I got the right to build anything on the land during my rental period. And Sir Rad didn't say a word at first, but now he's up and demands we demolish it. My family will be ruined. That's not gonna happen, I say. Sir Elavia screams at him in return, outraged by what he calls his cunning trickery. The bearded Basil Jung disagrees again and again, his pudgy finger pointed at the clause in the agreement. It is noon already. The sun is so hot, even the air itself seems to melt away. This is your first case ever. It is time to deliver your verdict. No matter what the agreement says, no commoner has the right to construct a production facility on nobles' lands without the noble's permission. Presently, however, you cannot reasonably terminate such a contract between a commoner and a noble, which means that the prefecture needs to pass a law to this effect. You postpone the verdict and tell Sir Avila and Basiljung to leave for now. The prefecture does more than judge cases and resolve litigation. It also generates regulations that have the force of law within the province. And even the youngest judge in the employ of the prefecture may suggest a new regulation. When it comes to land agreements, it is clear that the province needs to guarantee that any noble has the right to terminate any agreement that impinges upon the ownership of their land. And so you meticulously compose a proposal for a new provincial law. Ownership of land, you write, is a foundation of noble authority, for along with the noble title, it is one of the boons granted to those ennobled by the sword. A noble is the sovereign of the land, and so he must have the right to recover that land if need be. The other judges eagerly support your draft, given the many litigations of this kind between nobles and commoners they face every year. It will present them with a quick and effortless solution. Eventually, even the Emperor's overseer in Megra, Gaius Tempest, sanctions this regulation. With the name Brante mentioned therein, your standing with Anazote high society improves. Once the new regulation is in force, you reopen El Avia's case. Now armed with a legal justification, you terminate his rental agreement with Basil Jung and restore the noble's ownership of the land. The dye works is to be demolished. What are you saying, Your Honor? I put all I had into this family. My family will starve. Your decision is now backed by a provincial regulation, you remind him, and even stubborn Basil Jung has no choice but to accept it. The hapless dyer is a sorry sight, his broad shoulders hunched and drooping. The man has nothing more to say. He is ruined, and he knows it. You have my thanks, Sir Brante. This certainly took longer than I expected, but the land rights of all nobles in Megra are now well protected against scheming, low-born tenants who have grown rich beyond measure. Rest assured, the other nobles of the sword will hear of your integrity. Many newspapers have appeared in Anazote of late, but today every single one of them writes about your law. Many periodicals praise the young judge from the Brante family as a protector of timeless noble rights. Other newspapers, however, condemn the regulation openly. They claim that it renders pointless any and all rental agreement in the province, which it does. The common estate now has no secure foundation on which to ensure the security of their trade and production facilities, since all land suitable for construction belongs to the noble estate. The crowd square. This event is a consequence of your previous actions. Interesting. Your more recent verdicts seem to have convinced the nobles of their absolute impunity and complete rule over the lowborn estate, and now the commoners in every corner of the province grovel and scream as their landlords take and punish and humiliate. Any attempts to appeal to justice will not succeed. The judges reject all complaints against nobles without even reading them. Today there is a large gathering of people in this square in front of the prefecture, but this is no festivity, no celebration, no joyous occasion. This is a mob of commoners, and they have come to ask for justice. Many are on their knees, begging, praying. Those with the loudest voices stand on tall barrels, screaming at the prefecture. Do you hear us, Sir Prefect? We ask for justice. We beg for protection. The tax is too high. We cannot pay it twice. Our families starve, but we must pay our last coin to the Duke and then the overseer. Prefect O'Born watches the crowd from his window, lost in thought. He knits his brow, and he turns to face you. This is how a riot begins, Brante. The commoners are only asking for justice now, and if they don't get it, they will try force soon enough. Imagine what it will happen if they all bring torches next time. The noble lot is to rule, yes, but we must rule wisely and provide for those we rule over. Too many nobles think the law was written only for the common folk. It pains me to say it, but you seem to be among them, Brante. But you seem wise enough, Sir Judge, so put your wisdom to use. Go outside and set things right. Something must be done about them before this mob turns into a stampede. Take Captain Leonard and his men and go to the square. You have to calm these people. They have to disperse before the noble militia notices them and reaches for their swords. And then there won't be any end to the bloodshed. Help me buy some time, and we will defuse the situation together. You are in the square. You stand on the steps of the prefecture, surrounded by gendarmes, searching for the leaders of the mob. In the middle of the crowd, standing on a wooden crate, you see a woman dressed in trousers and a jacket, gesticulating wildly. Ah, fuck. Truth and justice, truth and justice. Shit, man. Gloria used to recite poetry like that when you were children, but she is not a couch in your home anymore. She now stands in the middle of a roiling human sea. She sees you, and for a brief moment her voice trails off, but then she starts chanting to the crowd even louder. Give us the law! Give us the law! Fudge. Another ringleader notices you in the meantime, a sturdy bald man with a short beard and the appearance of a craftsman. You are finally here, my lord! You're Judge Brante! We know you well! We know you quite well! We're looking for a way to help His Highness Gaius Tempest hear our pleas. If the prefecture can't protect us, then His Highness is our only hope. The cries and screams grow louder and fiercer. Slowly, the mob of petitioners begins to advance towards the prefecture. The gendarmes are ready to fight back. Captain Leonard eyes the crowd, awaiting your orders. Let's stick to our guns then. Keep on going. Alright. You shake your head at Schmidt. There can be no negotiating as long as this mob threatens the peace and order of the city. You tell the bald investigator. Then in a loud voice you address the entire crowd. Any attempts to pressure the authorities into action will lead to nothing but bloodshed, and you will not condone it. Everyone must disperse immediately. Those who continue to disturb the peace will be arrested. The mob stops, confused by your words, but the voices of the ringleaders spur the people onward. From far away you hear Gloria cry out. Are you going to arrest me too, Judge? You move from talk to action. At your order, the gendarmes surge forward like bloodhounds, cleaving through the panic-stricken mob with their blackjacks. You are there, giving orders, making sure no leader of this march escapes. You have them surrounded on their crates and barrels, then bound and arrested. People start fleeing the square, leaving only mud and the stench of human sweat behind. Gloria is rounded up as well. She is escorted to the prefecture jail along with the other leaders of the march, her hands and theirs bound by the same long rope. Your own sister screams and curses you as you march them to their cells. Have you forgotten that you used to be lowborn too? You nobles, this is all your fault. You never listen to us. You just squeeze us dry. I hate you! Gloria tries to swing her arms at you, but she is tied too tight. You try not to look your sister in the eye. Unsettled by the mob, the judges greet you as a victor. You were hard on the people, but you defended the prefecture and prevented a full-scale riot. Damn! I don't think I've ever had that before. Most of the rabble-rousers you had arrested are released before the day ends. It is Elborn's order. The prefect does not want to inflame the people even more when tensions in the city are already running high. Bridemoon Schmidt leaves his cell and walks away, giving you a mockery of a bow. Behind him out walks Gloria, her head hanging low. Father's arm is around her shoulder. He glances at you furiously as they walk past you in cold, bitter silence. Two powerful lords have been struggling for power in Megra for over 2 years now. The new overseer of the province, Gaius Tempest, cannot seem to rein in the obstinate spirit of Archduke Tarquinius Melanitis. Unwilling to accept that he is no longer the overseer of Megra, the Archduke will stubbornly continues to assert his right to province or to rule the province. Most of the Megran gentry who swore allegiance to him generations ago remain loyal to him even now. Gaius Tempest has publicly demanded that the Archduke recognize the overseer's rule as legitimate. I am the voice and the will of the Emperor Uther II and the province of Megra. All lands, deeds, and titles notwithstanding, Archduke Melanitis must obey his sovereign's will and heed his decree. I hereby extend the Archduke an offer of peace. Should the Archduke cease his insubordination, his lands, deeds, and titles shall remain his own. The Archduke's response to the overseer was openly defiant. Since the days of yore, the land of Megra has belonged to the Melanitis dynasty. We are part of the empire, and we are the emperor's loyal servants. However, our dynasty will not stand for such instruction upon our lawful rights and privileges. Never before has an archduke been stripped of his right to represent the emperor's rule in his own province. So do not forget, Sir Overseer, that the highest noble families of Megra have sworn fealty to me alone. Neither the Archduke nor the Overseer will relent, but both are too powerful to be readily disposed of. The bad blood between the two Archnians has festered for too long, and the common people have begun to pay the price for their strife. Stripped of the Overseer's tax privileges, the Archduke Melanitis has decided to impose his own levy upon the citizens and villagers of Megra. The commoners are now forced to pay taxes twice, first to the Overseer and then to the Archduke. This double burden is too much for the common people of Megra to bear. Many have refused the second tax outright as a lawless measure, but the Imperial Legion, led by young Doris Auden, is ruthless. Eagerly and without mercy, the Legion's soldiers collect the Archduke's due in cities and villages alike. This last year has been an ordeal for your family. The pains taken to be ennobled by the sword, the close attention of the city aristocracy, the squabbles between Stefan and Gloria. Tonight, your preoccupied father has gathered the entire family around a table in the backyard. The sun is almost set, and there is a soft breeze. But instead of a meal out in the open air, you are going to attend a family meeting. In the middle of the table, you see an open gilded box. It is full of jewels. Archduke Melanitis himself has bestowed this gift upon us. It is a surprise indeed. I thought you had all had the right to know. Father unfolds a letter lying beside the box. I forgot what voice I did for him. Sir Robert Brante, I bestow this precious box upon you and your family as a symbol of the care with which I treat the people of my province. Pray accept this gift, and remember with whom the loyalty of the true nobles of Megra lies. Archduke of Megra, Tarquinius of the Melanitis. The family stares in amazement at the jewels sparkling in the last rays of sunshine. It's worth quite a fortune, but the Archduke is fully aware that I am on the side of Prefect Elborn and Overseer Gaius Tempest. Could he really expect our loyalty to be bought so brazenly? On the other hand, the Archduke is not demanding anything of us, and our family has borne a lot of expenses recently. Father, no one is forcing you to side with the Melanitis. Who are we in comparison to the Archduke anyway? We must not anger him by refusing his gift. The jewels are certainly welcome. They are worthy of being shared with the best families of Anazote. They will pave our way to the nobility of the sword. Mother shakes her head glumly.
Robert, I have a feeling this gift bodes ill. It may be an impertinence on my part, but I do not want our family to be indebted to the Archduke. Certainly not. Accepting gifts from Melanitis, he's infamous for oppressing the commoners and robbing villages blind with his taxes. This isn't our decision, Gloria. It's a matter of our family's honor and reputation. Please don't start bickering again. Let Rad say what he thinks we should do with this gift.
You are the center of attention now.
Now?
Your vote will be the deciding factor. So, this is the one we're gonna have to go with. You agree with Stefan. A gift from the Archduke is not to be refused. It would be better to use it for a more important goal, obtaining the nobility of the sword. You and Stefan will determine when, how, and whom to give the gifts be given. So siding with Stefan is usually the good option for this playthrough. I'm inclined towards the same solution. Let it be so. I'll send a note to the Archduke expressing our humblest gratitude, but I'll point out that I don't mean to change sides. I will serve my prefect and my overseer. Be careful, Father. The Melanitis house is not to be trifled with, but the Archduke will have nothing to reproach you with. Rad and I will put the jewels to good use. You and Stefan spend the next couple of weeks arranging meetings and attending receptions and feasts. You discover that you are on par with your brother in your understanding of the nobility of Anazote, including their relations and their quirks. The generous gifts and the refined manners your brother and you display before the aristocrats allow your family to rise in their esteem. There is but one disadvantage. You do not have a single coin tucked away in the family treasury. Alright. Alright.
Woohoo!
Alright, let's go. Glorious Bloodline. Come on. Recent events have cemented the noble reputation of the Brante family. Now every elite family in Anazote respects your name and holds you in high regard. Your actions speak for themselves. Your reputation is spotless. You honor the traditions of the Empire. The noble families have come to rely on your word. You have just completed your first year of service at the prefecture. Several days after your second year begins, there is a knock at the door. You look up from your paperwork and tell the visitor to come in. Sir Elborn's secretary slips inside quietly. The prefect has an important matter to discuss with you in his office. Augustine Elborn looks weary and aged, but he greets you with his usual characteristic warmth. You take a seat in the comfortable chair across from him. Sir Elborn asks his secretary to pour you and him some wine. Sir Brante, good to see you. I hope the judge's trade is coming easily to you now. I must admit I've been watching your first cases closely. You've already had to resolve a rather difficult land dispute between a commoner and a noble. We will see even more litigation of this kind in your province in the future. But it's time for you to answer an important question. In this great dispute between the two estates, where will you stand as a judge? Take a look around you. Life in the Empire, as we know it, is changing. It is our duty as nobles and judges to make peace between all the estates on the bias of the law. However, the prefecture faces a great hindrance in its pursuit of this goal. Many nobles are still determined to abide only by the traditions of old, especially the Archnians. For those nobles, the only law above them is the Court of Honor, where noble ranks and duels decide everything. They reject the jurisdiction of the prefecture and outright defy the newer laws and regulations of the Empire. This is to say nothing of what happens when an Archnian has a dispute with a human commoner. Some Archnians would rather cut a human down then and there than waste time on what they see as pointless litigation, even though the laws say that all the Emperor's subjects have the right to a fair and just trial. One of the most flagrant violators of the law is Dorius Otten, the commander of our province's military. You've encountered him before, haven't you? The Archnian nobleman is a notorious duelist. Anyone who crosses his path risks insulting his honor.
His sword has ended the lives of many human nobles, not to mention all the commoners who have been unlucky enough to run afoul of him when he was bored. Surely you realize, Brante, that we are the only ones who can protect those people. The lowborn lot forbids a commoner to arm himself, and even those who would rather defy their lot have no chance against Dorius Otten, one of the most skilled Archean sword masters. Otten cannot be allowed to commit murder with impunity. We have to stop him and all the others who act as he does. Imperial law must prevail over their barbarous traditions. But as of now, I have no authority to put Otten on trial. Our province still abides by the old traditions, and humans are powerless against the dynastic power of the Archean aristocracy. Putting an Archean on trial for his crimes would be an unthinkable at best. We have to work gradually to change this, Brante. I need you as an ally. What we have to do is strengthen the power of imperial law in Megra, so that eventually everyone will respect the law, from humble beggars to highborn Archeans. We must show everyone that the law is not a noble instrument of oppression against the common folk. Like the divine law, imperial law must stand above all, with no regard for birth, rank, or title. This is why I decided to address you today, Brante. Side with the law, side with your father and myself. Side with the justice in every case, always. No matter who stands trial before you, be they lowly commoner or noble elite, with enough precedence, we will put an end to high-born tyranny and ensure that the law is respected throughout the province. But I must warn you, even here at the prefecture, I am not all-powerful. Many judges oppose my point of view, not openly, at least not yet, but I am certain they will work against us in the shadows. Now, Brante, what is your answer? Are you ready to side with me and change our province for the better? Are you prepared to support me against the high-handed gentry and defend the common folk from likes of Dorius Otten? For a long moment there is silence. After such a passionate speech, For a long moment there is silence. After such an passionate speech, it feels difficult to decline the offer. No matter what you think of the prefect or his views, you are not ready to make Elborn any promises. Youth service at the prefecture has just begun. Your life could still change at any moment. If you accept his plea and his offer, what cases will you have to tackle? Who will you have to represent? What will it cost your family and yourself? No, you are not willing to make any promises you can't reliably keep. You share these concerns aloud with the prefecture. Elborn's face grows stiff, becoming an emotionless mask. He answers with a reserved nod. I understand what you're saying, young Brante. When I was young, I also thought the Empire was too big, too monolithic, too set in stone. I thought any attempt to change it was futile and doomed from the start. But now I know one thing's for certain. The world changes, and it is people who change it. Anyone may act today to change the Empire of tomorrow. When you have to deliver your next verdict, consider my words. Rest assured, your decision will not affect your job in any way. Continue to performing your duty as a judge, and I guarantee your efforts will be justly rewarded. Best of luck in your service to the Empire, Sir Brante. You return to your office, your desk still covered with endless paperwork as always. At first glance, nothing has changed, but now you know how much the daily grind at the prefecture affects the world at large. You sit at the desk once again, deep in thought. All right. An old friend. Night is falling over Anazote. The stifling heat gives way to an eagerly anticipated freshness. After a day at work, you stroll home at a leisurely pace. You turn down a street that you have known since you were a little boy. It is as if your legs are acting of their own accord, bringing you to the place of your childhood play, the remnants of the wooden fort. So much has changed since the days when you used to play here with your little friends. Engrossed in your memories, at first you fail to notice that you are not here alone. A tall figure in the uniform of a Legion officer approaches you. You see unruly brown hair and a twinkle in his eye. It is Thomas. See, I like how he changes over the years. I like his designs at change. I wish more designs of characters changed too, like the mother and the father. Like, I like the designs that change over time. Now that's a surprise. Hey, Brante! Fancy running into you the moment I'm back in town. Your childhood friend puts his arm around you. Our battalion got transferred here recently. We're under the command of the Magra Legion now. I'm keeping the peace and maintaining order in my very own province. Well, why don't we catch up? Let me buy you dinner. We'll have a little chat, remember the old days. Thomas cuts himself short. You suddenly notice how much older he looks. His face has become sharper and rougher, and his eyes are filled with exhaustion rather than their usual mischievous sparkle. I should warn you though, Rad, I ain't the best company nowadays. I've managed to get myself some powerful enemies already. I'm a friend who could taint your good name, so if you'd rather not be seen with me, well, I understand. The smile on his face starts to fade. I can't walk away? I'm so confused right now. What? I've literally done everything to... I'm so confused. I've done everything to kind of distance myself from him. Like everything pretty much. So I'm not bound by friendship, but I have to not be a nobleman to do this. But this affects the nobleman status only. Like, I don't need reputation, I don't think. If I'm just some like random like rebellious guy. Like, I don't, in a way I don't really see, like, if I was a monk, right, this would be the same. Like, I could walk away. But now that I'm a nobleman, I can't walk away. I have to be friends with this guy. Okay. I better not lose my glorious bloodline shit. You give Thomas your hand. You shake hands firmly. So you haven't forgotten your old friend, Brante. That's the way it ought to be. Well, come on then. You go to a tavern, reminiscing about your childhood antics on these very streets along the way. You choose a table in the far corner of the tavern. Thomas orders a bottle of good wine and some food. You talk about your latest case, about your first years back in Anazote. You share family news, your quest to become nobles of the sword, the quarrels between your elder brother and sister, your mom's health. Thomas nods with concern. Sounds like you've had some tough times. Your family's always been different. Mine, on the other hand, is the same as it ever was. My pa is always in his workshop, and my ma is always doing chores. But look at me. I came home a service-class nobleman, although it doesn't bring me much joy anymore. Thomas is suddenly grim. You ask your old friend to share his troubles with you. He quickly glances around the room and lowers his voice. Well, I'm captain in the Magran Legion now, and who's our commander? His Excellency Dorius Auden. That's right, I serve under the very same Archean whose toes I stepped on back in Eterna. And you better believe he remembers me. I'm afraid things are gonna end real bad. But hey, I'll figure it out somehow. Don't trouble yourself over it. Apart from that, well, it's the usual service. You impose order in uppity towns and villages, protect the province, that sort of thing. We run drills all day long, obviously. If only you knew how sick I am of them barracks, Rad. I've thought about starting a family. My ma keeps telling me to find a nice girl to marry. She said it's high time I got hitched. It is completely dark, and you are still talking. Finally, Thomas remembers that his parents are waiting for him. You get up from the table, leaving some dirty dishes and quite a few empty bottles behind. On your way out, you catch a glimpse of a nondescript figure following you to the door. As you walk alongside Thomas through your home neighborhood, you keep glancing over your shoulder, but the shadow that was following you has disappeared. You reach your street and stop for a while in the semi-darkness between your family homes, just as you used to all those years ago. Bye, Brante. I hardly come to Anazote these days. Our battalion is always on the march all over the province, but twins willing, we'll see each other again real soon. You advise your friend to safeguard his every life. Alright, I guess I have willpower. Your first year at the prefecture has come to an end. You are not a young student anymore. You know that a judge's trade means so much more than knowing the law and carrying it out. Resolving a litigation of any importance requires striking a balance between the code of law, high society's opinion, and the whims of the provincial powers that be. Your second year is beginning, and it feels much tougher already. Trampled by the nobles, the commoners seek help, and so they turn to the law. They turn to you. The carriage takes you through the silver district of Anazote. It is early morning, and you have just received a letter bearing the seal of City Hall. Remy El Vermon, the magistrate of Magra himself, wishes to see you at once. The mere sight of the magistrate's invitation is enough to make you scowl. This is no doubt about your newest case regarding the Quorum Gazette, which may spell trouble for everyone involved. A provincial legislator, the Lesser Quorum, governs the volume and distribution of taxes in Magra, after a new law created by the Emperor's own brother Cornelius Tempest several years ago. Commoners of considerable wealth were granted representation in the Quorum on par with nobility, thus forming the Lesser Quorum. Now the representatives of the lowly estate have found a newspaper of their own, and this Quorum Gazette distributes all across Nazote, fervently argues for commoners' rights and provincial governance. The man behind the newspaper is Mayor Egmont, a well-off industrialist and owner of several silver mines, and it was his article and his demands that brought about this litigation. You take out a newspaper and read Egmont's article printed within. It addresses Imperial Overseer Gaius Tempest directly. We demand that Sir Overseer Gaius Tempest cease his habitual disregard for our meetings. From our Emperor Uther II, we received the lawful right to assemble and sit in the Lesser Quorum, and we say to the Overseer, our voice must be heard. Our message must be accepted. The carriage stops in a square by a luxurious building. This is the City Hall, where Imperial officials manage all domestic and economic matters of Anazote. You are escorted up a long, winding staircase to the door of the magistrate's office. You now stand before Remy El Vermon. The magistrate maintains a haughty bearing in spite of his vulnerable age. His face bears the sharp, proud features so common among the old aristocracy. Ah, yes, Sir Judge, you are from the Brante family, I believe. I appreciate your prompt arrival. I'd rather not waste your time and get right down to the business. The matter for which I called you here is urgent indeed. You are judging a case against the newspaper by the Lesser Quorum. Are you not? I've had a torrent of complaints against it from the most venerable members of the Quorum. They say Mayor Egmont has insulated Gaius Tempest, our overseer, and an Archnean from the Emperor's own great dynasty, and I say they're absolutely right. The Empire gave those uppity commoners a hand in managing the province's very well-being, which is already a violation of their lowly lot. But no, that wasn't enough for them, it seems. You've earned the mantle only recently, Sir Brante, but you must realize that this is an affront to the honor of the entire nobility. I expect you to do your duty as a judge and immediately find a pretext for shutting down their pathetic gazette. Elborn, your prefect might think otherwise. However, Sir Brante, if you exercise enough wisdom and cunning, I am certain you'll realize which approach is most beneficial to you. With your youth and potential, it will do you good to have powerful friends on your side. I'm sure you will reach the only appropriate and just verdict when closing this case, and I hope you will be duly judicious. For now, farewell. You return to the prefecture lost in thought. Sir Vermin is right. Your word is all it will take to shut down the Lesser Quorum newspaper down. As a judge and a nobleman, you do not even need a reason. The people running the Gazette are mere commoners, no matter how wealthy they might be. There was no breach of law, however.
Mayor Egmont's article simply requested that the overseer of Magra hear what the lesser quorum has to say. You can reject the nobility's complaints and thus show the commoners they may rely on the prefecture's justice, but Sir Vermont and many fellow judges will be outraged. Father learns that the case has been assigned to you. He visits you and offers some advice. You're in a predicament now, son. If you try to appease one party, the other will be furious. Wouldn't you rather see if there's any way to make peace between them? We could host a party at our estate and invite both Mayor Egmont and the noble elders from the quorum. If you are successful at refusing their quarrel, no one would object if you decide to legitimize the Quorum Gazette. Even Vermin won't be against it if the nobles stop complaining. However, Father is not your only visitor of note that day. Shortly after the doors closed behind him, the familiar face of Judge Carlo Motherfucker-grabbin' appears in your office. He looks around cautiously before speaking his mind. I hear you've ordered to deal with that newspaper run by wealthy commoners. It's a complicated case indeed. If you ask me, work like that deserves to be rewarded. Why not make the most of it? You're quite close with Prefect Elborn, are you not? Almost related, as it were. What if you were to shut down the paper and seize their printing press? All it would take is Sir Prefect's signature, and my friends among the quorum nobles, why, they could use a gazette of their own. I would be delighted to help you put that printing press in a good hand. Just think of it, would you? You could shut down a subversive periodical and help our esteemed nobles spread the message, all while earning a lucrative reward for your efforts. It's quite a coup, really. Everyone wins. Do think on it, Brante. He leaves, and you are left alone in your office to deliberate. If you decide to shut down the Gazette, how far should you go? And if you choose to legitimize the periodical, how will you go about it? You peer over the papers as you write your verdict. Published by commoners, the newspaper in question has demonstrated insolence in addressing the overseer of Magra, who represents the Imperial Tempest dynasty. This alone is reason enough to end the existence of the Quorum Gazette once and for all. The newspaper's owner, Mayor Egmont, soon hears of your ruling and comes to the prefecture in person. He looks almost like a nobleman. Egmont is well-groomed and wears expensive clothing only a wealthy industrialist could afford. Nevertheless, his rough manner of speaking and boorish posture betray his humble origins. Egmont leans menacingly over your desk, fuming with rage. Your Honor, there wasn't a single word of insolence against imperial rule or any slander against the Tempest in my article, and you know it just as well as I do. Doesn't the common estate deserve justice in court? Don't we have the right to be heard? You tell him coldly that the newspaper has been deemed illegal, and Commoner Mayor Egmont must pay a fine to the city hall. Your judgment is final and without appeal. So that's how it is. I'll pay. I have the money, as you surely know, but you, Your Honor, how long have you been a noble yourself? Did you already forget how it feels to be under somebody else's thumb all the time? Let me tell you, the times are changing. We won't be silenced so easily. Egmont slams the door behind him as he leaves, his war for the rights of the lowly estate far from over. You receive a note from Magistrate Remy Vermin the day after.
Your honorable service and righteous verdict are appreciated. No longer will the lawn-born waste paper slandering their noble masters. I was right to put my faith in you. Rest assured, I will mention you most favorably at future noble gatherings. Keep up the good work, Judge Brante.
Okay. Okay. March of the Desperate. This event is a consequence of your previous actions. Makes sense? So something does happen. An enormous mob is marching through the streets of Anazote. Men, women, young, old, emaciated faces, tattered rags, stomachs bloated with hunger, or bloated from hunger. Crying newborns in the arms of old women, their moans and cries can be heard from far away. The people are walking towards the city hall. The provincial council is in session today. An overseer has ordered you to prevent any blood from being shed on the streets of Anazote today. You walk with resolve to face the mob. 3 squads of gendarmes follow you grimly. Tension runs so high you can feel it on your skin. You know full well that the commoners have taken the streets because of the choices you have made. The low-born folk have been deprived of the last of their rights. They are wide open to the tyranny of the nobles, with no way to defend themselves. Craftsmen and workers, farmers and wealthy commoners, they all suffer at the hands of the nobles for the smallest infraction. And every day the prefecture receives reports of unpunished looting, arson, and murder. The march approaches you and stumbles into a halt. Confused and uneasy, you take a moment to study the crowd. Commoners are humble and silent. They are unarmed. The recent years of tyranny have squeezed the very idea of revolt from their minds. They will shed no blood. You call for the gendarmes to give way follow the mob while you look for the leader of this march. In the front rows you notice a priest of considerable age clad in a white cassock. You recognize him, Father Lenart, abbot of the Temple of the Silver Tree. We go to City Hall, Sir Judge. The Provincial Council must see the children of Megra. If we cannot appeal to their conscience, there must be some pity left in their hearts. The twins know the common folk can bear this burden no longer. The councilmen must witness their handiwork, face their shame, and show mercy. Their law has brought us nothing but suffering. Their march has almost reached the square in front of the city hall, but then it suddenly stops. You hurry to the front, following the angry cries. Soldiers are blocking the road, a punitive battalion of the Imperial Legion. You scowl. The battalion came to the city with Darius Otten, High Commander of Megra, after a full year of burning, pillaging, and looting Megran villages who had refused to pay the tax a second time. The commoners are huddling together. The back rows are trying to push to the front. The Legion soldiers hold the line. It will not take long for someone to cast the first stone, and then blood will be shed. Father Lenart takes a step forward. Let the common people go to the city hall. The rulers must see what has become of this city without justice. Silence. Anyone who takes a step forward after this false priest will see the twins before their time. The gendarmes help you reach the square. You head straight for the battalion officer, a tall Legion captain with red hair and cold eyes. You inquire about their orders. We're here on Commander Otten's orders, sir. We're to protect the provincial council and keep the lowborn away from the city hall. Battalion, form rank. Moving as one, like a well-oiled machine, the Legion soldiers form a line to block the road, a wall of shields bristling with swords. The mob stops, even as the back rows keep pushing. The soldiers start banging their shields on the ground, a terrible clanging rhythm that causes even the crying newborns to freeze in terror. Swordsmen, form a line! Stolen swordsmen line up behind the shield bearers, ready to draw their weapons and step to the front at any moment. You ask the captain a question. Do they really want to attack these people? Why not? I'm following the commander's orders. My men can wait. Or my men can't wait. Sir Otten says anyone looting in the city will face true death, but my boys don't like going home empty-handed. At least they'll have their fun. The captain studies you for a moment, but ponders for a while. He steps very close to you and whispers in a low voice on the verge of a whisper. You know, I could cooperate and hold my men back, let them march to the city hall, but I gotta get some gold in my pockets, you know what I mean? You stare back at the Legion officer, astonished. These are the men Otten has recruited for his punitive battalions? The march has stopped. The front lines, led by Father Lenart, stand their ground, unwilling to retreat, but the mob behind them is frantic, growing louder, angrier. The Legion soldiers keep slamming their shields into the ground. They will advance on the mob any moment now. The red-haired captain is casting glances at you, ready to give the word. Your gendarmes stand by your side,
blackjacks clutched in their nervous hands. You step aside. You have no intention of bribing Legion soldiers.
As you wish, Sir Prefecture. Then I'll go ahead and carry out my orders. Forward!
You order the gendarmes to retreat and form up away from the battalion. Bloodshed is inevitable now, but you won't be involved in it. Still banging their shields, Legion soldiers attack. The wall of shields pushes the people back step by step, further and further. The rear rows press on the front ones, and in the chaos, people are no longer able to turn around. The moaning heard throughout the square becomes a roar. The shield bearers make way, and the swordsmen advance. The battalion rolls through the crowd. The soldiers are merciless and precise. They chop off heads and rip open stomachs. There is no cruelty in their actions, only serenity and firmness, like a butcher at the slaughter. Row after row of dead bodies fall at the soldiers' feet. The corpses of children fade away almost instantly, opt to be reborn. The elderly remain on the pavement. You observe the slaughter from the side, securely surrounded by a formation of gendarmes. The next day, you have to give an account of the march to Prefect Elborn. Up until the very end, I didn't believe the Legion would choose to use their weapons, as many people were trampled as slain by swords. The damned cutthroats, and you, Sir Rad Brante, were powerless to protect the people, as always. The worst part of it is that not even such a bold march has persuaded our governing elite to listen to the lower estate and give them back at least some of their rights. Mark my word, this slaughter will lead to a rift throughout the entire empire.
Okay.
The call of the ancestors. Today is a big day for the Brante family. The day your family's line started. The day when you remember all your ancestors. Tonight, everyone bears the name Brante. Or everyone who bears the name Brante must descend into the family crypt to keep vigil by the tombs. This is the time of surrender yourself to your ancestors and hear their will. The entire family prepares for the event in silence. Stefan has been choosing his apparel since morning, praying anxiously under his breath all the while. The heir has a special place in this family vigil. Even Mother is planning to go with you, though family father tries to talk her out of it. Lydia, I beg of you, stay home. You are far too weak for an all-night vigil in the crypt. Gloria, would you be so kind as to stay with your mother since you cannot join us anyways? Gloria answers in a muffled voice. As you wish, Sir Brante. The late Sir Gregor would only be enraged to see Mother there. We all remember how their last encounter ended. Father nods curtly, avoiding Gloria's gaze, but at that moment your attention is drawn to a noise in the foyer. Nathan staggers through the door, stumbling over his own feet. He reeks of cheap wine and filth.
I'm not all late, am I?
Everyone gazes at him in consternation. Nathan almost falls into Mother's and Gloria's arms. Distressed, they fuss over him. Stefan eyes his youngest brother coldly. I expected nothing more of you, Nathan. I expected nothing more of you, Nathan. Why even to speak of duty to your family when you can't even manage to live by the commoner's lot? Go lie down in the pantry and stay out of our sight. Father Rad, it's time to go. Alongside Father and Stefan, you descend into the crypt. You cannot help but remember paying your last respects to your grandfather 9 years ago. You light the lamps. Dim, eerie flames illuminate the shrine. In the middle of it stands a magnificent stone tomb containing the long decayed remains of Gregor Brante. You take your places around the crypt and kneel. The all-night vigil has begun. At first, your ancestors remain silent. Each of you is left with their own thoughts. Then a low murmur passes around you. The shadows in the corner of the room deepen. The voices grow stronger. You know that the ancestors of Gregor Brante, long forgotten commoners whom you never knew, are trying to talk to you.
Now a memory of them has come to life in the darkness of the crypt. They are pleading of something, demanding it of you, calling out to you, screaming. Finally, you all hear that painful, familiar, deep, imperious voice echo from the far end of the chamber. It's been a long time since I've seen you all. I hope you bear good tidings. All this time, I've been waiting for you to fulfill my mission. Remember, as long as I am in your blood, I will give you no peace. I did not have my family ennobled just to see our line cut short. Our blood tide must join the grand flow of the Empire, and then each of my descendants will inherit nobility forever and ever. But I do not see any of you before my tomb. Where are you hiding? Where is the head of our family, the man who will speak to me? Where is the man who will lead my will? Father rises from his knees and makes his way towards grandfather's stone tomb, the source of that booming voice, but Stefan suddenly pushes him out of the way. Father takes an indignant step forward, but Stefan firmly bars the way. Stop it, Stefan. You are my heir, but you are not the head of this family. Father, it is not you that Sir Gregor is addressing. Earning the nobility of the sword is my duty to him. He has long forsaken any hope of seeing you achieve it. You must understand that I am the one who will fulfill that duty. Stefan does not let him pass. Father breathes heavily in anger. You can all but feel the frantic beating of both their hearts, resonating somewhere within you. Both your father and brother seem to have forgotten that you are here too. Even the restless voices of your ancestors have grown hushed, waiting for the outcome of this confrontation. You block Stefan's way. Your ponderous voice fills the dark crypt. You demand that your brother step back. The head of your family is your father, Robert Brante, and so it will be as long as he lives. Could your brother have forgotten that it is part of the noble lot to acknowledge and honor seniority? That is true as well. That is true, and I'm a noble. I know. Your father is the man who must hear and accept your ancestors' will. Yeah, it sure is. Stefan tries to maintain his composure, but even in the dark, you can see his face twitch. Brother, you don't understand. I'm not defying father's seniority, but I am the man who bears his duty to our grandfather. I cannot remain a mere witness while the future of our blood tide runs through our fingers. You resolutely push your brother to one side. Whether he wants to or not, he will give way to the head of the family. Father catches his breath and approaches grandfather's tomb. So it is you, Robert. Have you come to disappoint me yet again? Stefan is right. I have not put my hopes in you for quite some time. If anyone will lead the Brante family to glory, then it will be my grandson. Stefan clenches his fist and whispers something to himself. I am not doing my utmost, Father. We are closer to becoming nobles of the sword than ever before. The Overseer looks upon us with favor. Just a couple more years and your dream will come true. This must be your dream too, Robert. But you still cater to your foundlings, Lydia and Gloria, risking a permanent blemish upon the Brante name, my name. Dead though I might be, my will lives on. At least. Heeded at last. Get rid of that parasite Gloria and devote yourself to your true family. Otherwise you will lead our family to shame and ruin. Father hesitates for a moment. No, Father. This is impossible. Even if I must defy your will, I am responsible for Gloria. My honor and my conscience will not allow me to do what you demand. You must accept this, or keep on fighting me for all eternity. Dang. Father's a good man. He's an actually good guy. And a good role model. But I'm trying to be shitty. The voice of your deceased ancestor fades away. He seems to have left this realm. Then his voice suddenly booms from the other side of the crypt. Stefan, you are the heir of this family. Your duty to my blood is to earn us a place in eternity. Do not take after your spineless father. Do what must be done. Cleanse our family of wickedness. Stefan is shivering. He replies in an unsteady voice. But, Gloria, I can't. Stefan checks himself. I will do my duty to my family, Sir Gregor. Whatever the price, I will pay it. The crypt is completely silent once more. You are alone again. You see tears glistening on Stefan's face. Without uttering a word, he goes inside. Father clasps his arm firmly around you. You feel him let out a sigh of sorrow and relief. The vigil is over.
Year 1140.
Just a few days into the year, Mayor Egmont, chairman of the Lesser Quorum and owner of several silver mines, made a speech that caused quite a stir in the province. Though a commoner, Egmont had the gall to demand that the Megran authorities both enforce and obey imperial law. What is the use of the imperial laws if they aren't enforced as they should be? Even a Dagan Anazote nobleman who gets up on the wrong side of the bed can draw his sword and run a commoner through with impunity. These gentlemen may be our rulers, but does that mean they can defy the Emperor's will? Sir L. Borden has been appointed to enforce the rule of law in Megra. How come the prefect doesn't see this? We commoners aren't trying to seize the noble lot and take over the province, but the rule of the tradition is a thing of the past. This is the age of justice. We may not all be equal in its eyes, but even the nobles and clergy must obey the law. The Megran aristocracy is furious with Egmont and demands that he be silenced, but the rich industrialist has too much money and too many connections to be dealt with so easily. You hear more and more rumors about secret societies of commoners appearing in the city, plotting against noble rule. The gentry fears that Egmont and his peers might be behind this, but they have no proof, at least for now. Father Lennart, abbot of the Temple of the Silver Tree and leader of the New Believers, supports Egmont and has spoken publicly in his favor. The twins themselves entrusted the noble estate with the right to rule over the common folk, but rulers must also care for their subjects. The old faith is mistaken, but no commoner shall ever be forced to suffer. It is for the very reason that the imperial law exists. It is there to ease the people's suffering. May those laws be duly enforced, and may they serve all the people of the empire. The vassal and the lord. It is another day at the prefecture. The secretary speaks into your office with a message from the prefect. There is a new case he wishes you to handle. You put away your quill and walk to Sir Elborn's office. To your surprise, he happens to have another visitor already. There's a graceful figure sitting across from your immediate superior, none other than Octavia Melanitis. After all the times you've met her in the capital, you expected the Archduke's daughter to be brilliantly, lavishly dressed. But her appearance today is modest and formal, with a high-necked dress and a strict bun. However, her demure attire only serves to emphasize her role as a distinguished visitor at the prefecture. You bow to the prefect and the noble Archnean lady. Octavia offers you a curt greeting, then returns to the conversation you have interrupted. You know, I do like this take on like the not Lady Liberty. I don't know what do you call her. The lady with like the scales, and it's supposed to be like Lady Justice or whatever. I don't know, but I like this take on the scales. How it's like a firm fist, kind of. I don't know. Watching over the law. I'm not sure. This matter can brook no delay, Baron Elborn. The young judge may well wait outside. Nonetheless, Sir Elborn insists that you come in and take a seat. Worry not, Brante. You aren't interrupting at all. Lady Melanitis, as I was scheduled to meet with Sir Brante at this very hour. I regret to inform you that your visit was perhaps somewhat unfortunately timed. Octavia rises from the soft, high-backed chair. The young Archnean lady now stands tall, elegant, and indignant.
You are out of line, Sir Elborne. Archduke Melanitis has graced you with a representative from his dynasty, and you will listen to what I have to say this instant. The Archduke has expressed concern over your manner of governance at the prefecture. You have always been headstrong and eager to infringe upon the freedoms of your own noble estate. But now it appears you find it acceptable to conduct proceedings against our own loyal subjects. Our dynasty has already seen many loyal nobles of the sword arrested or faced with punishment in court. Where will this lead? Where will all this lead? Do you mean to enforce your lowly laws against us Arknians? Do not forget that those laws were written to Do not forget that those laws were written to keep low-born humans in check. Our lives have always been governed by noble honor and tradition, as well as the blood tide that is our heritage. Our only justice is the court of honor. The only rule above us is that of our sovereign, the emperor, and the twins. Our only duty is to our kin and our forefathers. My ancestor Char Melanitis himself granted the boon of nobility to you humans. It would most be unwise to make me regret his decision of old. In the name of Archduke Melanitis, I demand that you end any and all proceedings against our subjects at once. Sir Elborn acknowledges Lady Octavia's vehement speech, which is with a calm smile and nothing else. He shows no trepidation, no tremor, no fear, even though the lady across from him represents one of the Empire's mightiest dynasties. Lady Melanitis, the twins have graced the blessed Arknian lineage with a boon of long life, yet the world can be quick to change at times. The laws of the Empire now govern the nobles of the mantle and even the nobles of the sword, along with the common estate. This particular change is not as recent as it might seem. The laws of the Empire are the decrees of the Emperor himself, the twins' chosen supreme sovereign. His laws are his will, which is, as you said yourself, the only rule above us. And that means all of us, from a highborn Arknian to the lowliest commoner. Presently, the Emperor's representative in our province is Overseer Gaius Tempest, like the prefecture in his entirety. I am simply obeying the Overseer's will and the laws of the Empire. And pray tell me, Baron Elborn, who is your own sovereign and protector? He is none other than my father, Archduke Melanitis. You swore him an oath of fealty and vassalage. It is your duty to follow his word and will. Or do you wish for the Archduke himself to address you directly? I tell you, cease this harassment of our loyal, noble subjects at once. I will not leave until this order is carried out. Okay, I had this like crazy thought for a second, like maybe thinking who is it? Archduke. I was thinking the Archduke was dead and he was just sending her, like Octavia, out to do things, because you know how like he wasn't at the what was he wasn't somewhere like important, like I think it was the speech that they gave, like Archduke wasn't there himself, it was Octavia. And so like maybe he's dead, but then I thought again, and like I don't think so. I think he's just lazy. Why, Lady Melanitis, I'm afraid this is quite impossible. As a servant of the Empire and Imperial Overseer Gaius Tempest, it is my duty to enforce the law. Now, if you'll excuse me, Sir Brante and I have urgent matters to discuss. The gaze of the Archduke's daughter is locked with the prefect in a silent struggle. Each expects the other to back down first, but then Octavia suddenly turns towards you. But I believe the young judge has more in him than blind obedience. Surely you are able to distinguish a rightful claimant from a threat to the province, are you not? Silence resounds within the prefect's office. They are both waiting for you to speak. You pull yourself together and tell Sir Elborn that, as a representative of a great dynasty, Lady Melanitis is well within her rights to defend her noble subjects. With that in mind, you would rather wait for the prefect to provide a satisfactory reply to Lady Melanitis before interrupting their discussion with your own affairs. Octavia smiles, victorious. See, Augustine, your judges have a far better understanding of the law, it appears. Now may I finally have your assurance that all of the Archduke's noble subjects will be free of any and all persecution? Having lost your support, Sir Oborn is cornered. He accepts defeat with his head hanging low. As it stands to reason, Lady Octavia, if the Archduke himself feels that imperial law is a burden he will not bear, then I feel I do not have the right to oppose him. The prefecture will satisfy your demands. Brante, would you be so kind as to accompany Lady Melanitis outside? Your next case will be delivered to your office. You open the door to the Archduke's daughter, or for the Archduke's daughter. The two of you leave the prefecture together. Lady Octavia deigns to allow you to accompany her to a luxurious carriage adorned with her dynasty's heraldic serpents. I wish to thank you for your boldness, Rad Brante. It seems my ancestor Charmelanitis was right to bring humans into the nobility. At least some of you have come to grips with the meaning of loyalty and honor. I shall mention your name to my father when I speak next to him. When I next speak with him. With that, Octavius's face disappears behind the thick curtain of the carriage door. You stay on the street and watch her leave, then return to your office. A case folder awaits you on your desk. It's time to get back to work. Oh, he distastes me. Passion. The repercussions of your most recent encounter with the Archduke's daughter, Octavia, soon manifest themselves. A letter bearing the seal of the great dynasty of Melanitis arrives the next day. Inside the envelope, you find an invitation to Castle Serpenverda, the Archduke's residence. Okay. Visiting the Archduke of Megra himself is a great honor. To decline such an invitation would be an insult of colossal magnitude. You immediately purchase a new doublet in the latest fashion and ask father to lend you a precious family brooch. It depicts the Brante family crest, and the leaves on the oak branch are made of tiny emeralds. Octavia should find it to her liking. Your family cannot help but notice your preparations. Mother watches nervously as you make sure everything is ready for your journey. This is an odd invitation. Oh, this odd invitation has me worried, my son. Be careful in the Archduke's castle. You're still of low-born origin. Archnean attention spells danger to people like us, every time. Remember not to displease them, or the Melanitises will grind our family into dust. Come early morning, the carriage takes you away from the border walls of Anazote. It takes you a full day to reach Serpenverda along the dusty, sun-scorched high road. While on the road, you read notes on Archnean traditions and rules of etiquette again and again. To preserve your family's honor, you must make the best possible impression. The provincial powers that be will be watching your every step, and so will Octavia, with her cunning grin. Only as the sun is about to set do you manage to spot the dark, colossal shape of Castle Serpenverda, a towering fortification of jet-black stone spread across a peak looming over the bed of a long-gone river. The carriage climbs the narrow serpentine road to the castle gate. Soldiers of the Archduke's guard approach you, and you present them with the invitation. The guards eye you with suspicion, but give you the signal to open the gate. You are now inside the walls of the Archduke's castle. You had expected to see many carriages of other guests beyond the gate, but the courtyard is strangely empty. The guards show you to a servant who guides you to a room reserved for guests and leaves you there to wait. The servant soon returns, and you follow him through the dimly lit corridors of Serpenverda, lavishly adorned with silver, emeralds, and weapons of war. The castle is silent. There is no noise, no music. It seems completely uninhabited. The sound of your footsteps is smothered by the soft velvet beneath your feet.
The servant stops in front of a pair of massive doors made with black wood. This is your destination, he gestures silently. You enter an enormous room, its walls covered in portraits and ancestral relics. In the very center of the room is a towering throne carved of black wood. Upon the throne you see the delicate silhouette of Octavia Melanitis, clad in a black velvet dress embroidered in silver. With a commanding gesture, the Arachnean lady bids you approach. You're here at last. Are you surprised, Rad? How odd. You didn't think my father would actually summon you to an Arachnean castle, did you? Or are you truly that naive? How sweet of you. No, it was I who summoned you here. I don't know whether to be flattered or whether to be scared. You are alone in the castle. Portraits cover the walls, portraits of Arachneans with dark eyes and jet black hair. They all resemble birds of prey, and their eyes seem to watch you with contempt that make you uneasy. Allow me to introduce you to my family. Family, this is a human by the name of Brante. What do we think of him, father? She casts a defiant glance at the portrait of the Archduke Melanitis. Then she removes a glove from her hand and casts it as well. It hits the great Archduke right in the nose. Octavia laughs at that, and the tall walls and innumerable portraits echo her voice. Baffled, you ask Lady Melanitis why she has summoned you. I fear that I sound like a 5-year-old reading a book sometimes, or I feel like that awkward guy that got called on to read for the class and can't. Hopefully I'm not that bad. Because you have caught my attention, I noticed you even when you were somewhat younger than you are now. I'm a cougar. And then I started seeing you again and again. I've caught myself thinking about you quite often, and so I've decided that I wish to possess you. Hold on. And so I've decided that I wish to... And so I decided that I wish to possess you. Okay. You will become my companion. Other humans will envy you, but no one will dare to cross you. My name will open any door you like. In return, you will satisfy my every whim, and I will do with you as I please. Damn! Damn! Octavia rises from the throne, the hem of her dress lifting up to reveal her elegant, slender leg. You know the history of this throne, yes? My ancestor, Char Melanitis, used to sit here during the rebellion of Megra. Can you imagine that? Char Melanitis made decisions that transformed the entire empire. Oh man, all from this very seat. And now it's gathered dust in this vainglorious art gallery of my father's. Now come to me, human. Oh, I'm coming. Octavia waits for you to do her bidding. One does not argue with an Arachnean. Since the dawn of the Empire, they have taken whatever they wanted. If you refuse Octavia, daughter to the Archduke of Megra, you will insult her greatly. If you submit to this Arachnean woman, if you become her plaything, everyone will know you are in the good graces of Lady Melanitis herself. As a human, what more could you possibly dream of? Recall your chance encounters with her, from the days of your youth to the more recent times. What are your feelings for this exceptional Arachnean lady, and what does she truly want from you? If you are willing to enter into a perilous romance with Octavia, perhaps you could do it on your own terms, returning her affections while keeping your honor. Would she defy the traditions of old for you and recognize you as her equal, even if only in secret? Octavia arches her back on her father's throne and waits for you. Oh, what? Her slender hand beckoning you closer. You give Octavia your answer, looking her straight in the eye. You have been in love with her ever since you were young, enchanted by her beauty and grace. Every chance encounter a treasured memory, and you know that this feeling is mutual. To you, there is no greater honor than Lady Octavia's affection. But you cannot sacrifice your honor as a nobleman for the sake of this love. You do not mean this as an insult. On the contrary, Lady Melanitis is far superior to you, it is true, yet you too are of the noble estate, and you cannot accept humiliation. Even if you must face the full extent of the Melanitis' ear, you will reciprocate Octavia's affection, not as an obedient plaything, but as a man and a noble. Your impassioned speech ends, and you steel yourself to face her wrath. But to your surprise, Octavia seems lost in thought, her eyes downcast. Nobody denies me. I'm not used to this. You are a remarkable human indeed, Rad Brante. I've noticed this ever since we first met. Your words echo in my heart. You do not follow the usual rules. Any other man would have been groveling at my feet by now. Perhaps you can be my escape from this stifling, sickening world. So be it. I choose a human as my lover, and I care little for what this aristocracy of the twins' forsaken province has to say about it. I'll take this as far as I like. But you will be safer if our affair remains a secret to the world. Now come to me, my sweet human. You draw closer to Octavia on the throne. She reaches out for your face, caressing it gently and carefully, as though touching a human for the first time. A moment passes, and suddenly her arms wrap around your neck, and her legs lock around your torso, and she pulls you closer to her with all her might. You do not resist the Archaean's assault. Her embrace leads you to the throne. So, how do you like the seat of the great Tsar Melanitis? Just a piece of wood, don't you agree? Uncomfortable too, but luckily it's spacious enough for the two of us. Octavia's ravenous lips find yours as her hands free you from your fashionable attire, her entire body shivering with excitement. You caress her skin, tender and azure. You commit her to memory, studying her, trying to understand her. Octavia's eyes are dark as the starless sky, sparkling with the delight from your sweet transgression. But why does she seek this pleasure with you? Why would she humiliate her ancestors and her very dynasty by having an affair with a human? Seeing you preoccupied, Octavia gently pulls your head up by the chin. She kisses you passionately, and her lips start moving down your half-naked body. Her inhuman passion swallows you and overtakes you, until the vast throne room of the Melanitis dynasty echoes with the last of her ecstatic moans. When there is silence, save for the sound of your heavy breathing, Octavia caresses your back slowly, then playfully pushes you off the throne. The Archaeans watch you from the portraits, their faces as dispassionate as ever. Octavia returns to you at dawn, now wearing a modest black dress, her hair in a formal bun. It's time for you to leave, Rad. The Archduke will return to the castle soon. I will visit Anazote now and again. Several estates there belong to me. We will meet there, safe from prying eyes. You leave Serpentverda with your head spinning and your heart racing. The day it takes you to return to Anazote passes like a single moment. When your family asks you about your visit to the Archduke, you evade the question. On that day forth, your heart aches sweetly, yearning for Octavia's letters, and when it is time for a brief tryst, the two of you disappear to one of her estates and give in to your secret passion. There are days when your love and your lover seem but an illusion, something gone forever, but soon another note arrives and the affair continues, only to be cut short again for an unknown time. You have stolen the heart of the most beautiful and high-born Archaean lady of Megra. Only one nagging thought casts a shadow on your love. What will be the price for this insolence? Your home has been much more peaceful for the last year. The fights between Stefan and Gloria are not as fierce now, but how long will this last? Your job takes up all your time. You see your parents and siblings less and less often. Sometimes you don't even know what they are doing while you deal with the constant stream of duties. This morning you head out on urgent business. Take one step out of the gate and run into a uniformed gendarme. Rad Brante, your presence is requested at the prefecture dungeon. Taken aback, you ask what it's about. We have your brothers Stefan and Nathan Brante in a cell. They were arrested last night at the Steiner's Inn. They asked us to send for you. The cells in the prefecture dungeon are cold and damp. The guards lead you to the bars, and behind them you see Nathan huddled in the corner. Your younger brother is unshaven, more disheveled than usual, and reeking of wine and filth. Near the cell you see Stefan grimly sitting in a chair. You guess that the gendarmes thought it best not to put him in the same cell as his low-born brother. Upon seeing you, Nathan lets out a whimper, and Stefan cracks a bitter smile. The sheath on your brother's belt is empty. There you are at last, Rad. Have a look at our younger brother. Yesterday he got drunk in the company of some dubious fellows. They are commoners, yet they dared to surrender their pleasure. They started to brawl, wrecked the inn, and harassed the waitress. As soon as I heard, I rushed to save this drunkard from shame. Nathan cowers in the corner, horror-struck. I walked in and demanded that Nathan come with me, but his cronies wouldn't let him go. That's not true.
That's not true. You just grabbed me by the collar and dragged me after you. You nearly suffocated me.
Shut your mouth, cur. So, brother, they seem to have some sort of sect. They all shouted defamations against the twin gods, and one of them grabbed my arm. I was forced to skewer this heretic with my sword. I hope a lesser death will teach him never to lay his filthy paws on a nobleman.
He was just trying to talk with you, Stefan.
Silence! Then the gendarmes barged in, and here we are. I've been accused of an unlawful murder. Apparently the new laws allow killing a commoner only if he attacks first or wields a weapon. They say that in the event of an insult, I'm supposed to file a complaint with the prefecture. So now they're going to seize my sword for a whole year. What a shame. And it's all your fault, Nathan. Stefan gives the bars a furious kick. Nathan covers his face with his hands in despair. Rad, brother, you are our only hope. Get me my sword back and get us out of here. And fast. We have to bury this sordid affair as deep as we can before anyone finds out. Save our family from shame. You command the gendarmes to give the nobleman Stefan Brante his sword back at once. He has not broken any law and must be freed. As for Nathan Brante, you will personally cover the damages the inn has sustained. This is no reason to keep the son of a noble behind family bars. Noble family behind bars. But your honor, Sir Sir Rad, that man threw right before our eyes. The law says... You glare furiously at the captain. That commoner, a heretic no less, dared to assault a born nobleman and grab his arm. Or does Linad claim to know the law better than Judge Brante? Remembering his position, the gendarme nods obediently and returns Stefan's confiscated sword. I knew I could count on you, Rad. You aren't just my brother, after all, but also a nobleman yourself. You know what honor is always paramount. You know that honor is always paramount. Stefan sheathes his sword reverently as Nathan is let out of the cell. The elder brother takes the younger by the scruff of his neck and pulls him to the door. Nathan staggers and shuffles along, limply. You manage to conceal this disgraceful occurrence from all your relatives with the exception of Sir Elborn. The prefect is very displeased with your abuse of power, but, needless to say, he does not order his nephew Stefan to be returned to his cell. Back home, Stefan starts lecturing Nathan. From now on, there will be no more drinking bouts or other nocturnal exploits. Who are those rogues you've befriended anyways? Stop shaming this family. If you're so worthless, at least let others go about their business in peace. Do you understand, you blockhead? Nathan remains silent, staring despondently somewhere above him. The case of Father Mark. Your most recent year of service at the prefecture has seen an increase in litigation on crimes against the church. More and more people are joining the ranks of the new faith in Anisote. The movement began with destitute beggars who had nothing to lose, but for years now, many well-off commoners and new nobles have been joining the fold. People say the leader of the new faith in Anazote is Father Leonard, the abbot of the temple at the Silver Tree. The city's leaders would love to expel him, but he is too highly regarded by the common folk. Complaints and cases of defiance of one's lot keep pouring in. Every day somebody is reported by their neighbors for heresy. Many commoners, adherents of the old faith, fear that such flagrant defiance of the lots will usher in the prophesied wrath of the gods. However, you and the other judges have no choice but to reject most of these cases. As a secular institution, the prefecture has no authority when it comes to crimes against faith. Only the church and the Inquisition have any say here. In the middle of another busy day at the prefecture office, the door suddenly swings open. A tall gendarme wearing an officer's uniform walks in. He takes off his helmet, adjusts his short, fair hair, and bows to you hastily. Captain Leonard reporting, Your Honor. My boys finally caught Father Mark. The dreaded apostate heretic. The prefect told us to take him to you for judgment. You, bring him in. I've given him an accent. Two gendarmes bring in a short, stout man wearing a worn, dirty priest cassock. Cassock? Priests wear the sacred symbol of the twins, a cross within a circle, but this man does not. Forced to sit before you, this odd-looking priest is nonetheless strangely undisturbed by his arrest. His eyes, curious and glimmering with life, study you intently. This is him, Father Mark in the flesh. We caught him trying to preach that teaching of his smack in the middle of the drinking hole for the lowborn in the Grey District. Some guy took offense and called for the gendarmes, and we got there right away. Father Mark, you've heard the name before ever since you were a child. His cult of rejection of the twins has expanded tenfold over the past several years, with nobles, commoners, and even other priests joining his flock. The Inquisition has hunted this heretical apostate for years, but Father Mark has always eluded capture, until now. Some say he has powerful protectors. Your statements from people of the establishment, Your Honor. You flip through pages of handwritten statements. Father Mark isn't just preaching, he is openly defying not only the lots, but even the twins themselves. Father Mark teaches that the gods have neither design or purpose for us, so we are under no obligation to serve them or prepare our souls for the hereafter. You put the papers away, ready to question the profane priest. What was the subject of his sermons? What was he trying to convince his listeners to do? Father Mark prefaces his answer with a dazzling smile. As a judge, it is your duty to enforce secular law. You know as well as I do that I have broken no such law. I am a priest, my friend, and in the Empire, priests are allowed to preach. I was preaching the proper way to live one's worldly life, for this is the only existence we have. I told my listeners not to waste their lives serving those gods. The twins surely love us, but alas, their love violates us as much as their law. This entire world is proof of that. I see my words upset you, but I'm afraid you can't judge me guilty for that. Here's why. You see, mine is the priestly lot, if the judgment of the church is to be trusted, which means that only the Inquisition tribunal may find me guilty. So you could hand me over to those black-clad thugs, but alas, you will get absolutely nothing in return. The Inquisition wants to light their piers in every corner of Anazote, and all they need for that is me. As soon as they get me, the Inquisitors will tell the prefecture to step aside and start enforcing the law themselves. Is that what you want, my friend? So what are you to do with me? Well, let's think about it. As a secular judge, you can't judge me guilty, but giving me to the Inquisition will weaken the prefecture. And so, my friend, everybody will be better off if you just set me free. Trust an old philosopher. It's better for me, better for you, your prefect, and better for you as well. Surprisingly, the gendarme captain smiles knowingly at these words. He leans over and whispers a few words in your ear. You cannot help but notice the scars all over his neck. I say the old heretic's right, Your Honor. If he's still got the priestly lot, he's the Inquisition's problem. He's the Inquisition's problem, It's too dangerous for the prefecture to meddle in churchly affairs. And strictly between you and me, if the reports I've been getting are to be trusted, this here Mark's been rubbing elbows with Patriarch Cassius himself. Letting him go might get us on his good side, and Sir Patriarch's a very wealthy man. And suddenly the captain's voice trails off as the door to your office opens without warning. There's a young woman at the door, clothed in a black cassock and bearing the telltale silver seal of the Inquisition. Oh, hey, that's the lady that you can fall in love with at the priest thing. Yeah, that's the girl I was with in the last run that I didn't record. I am Sister Jean, Your Honor. I serve the Order of the Inquisition. That stern face, those piercing brown eyes, they seem familiar somehow. Of course, this is the young acolyte girl from the Temple of the Silver Tree, the one you saw during the school visit. She's an Inquisitor now. Your men did well to track down and arrest Father Mark. Splendid. We've been hunting this false preacher for a long time, and I'm sure you know priests may not be judged by secular laws, Your Honor. Mark has denigrated the twins and called for the people to reject them. He has broken his sacred vows and defied his lot. He will face the tribunal of the Inquisition for his transgressions. The man before you is a great threat to the people of Anazote, Judge Brante. His words lead people astray. His speeches doom them to eternal suffering at the foot of the pillar. Only the Church knows the way to end his heresy. You will hand Father Mark over to me at once. Sister Jean remains in the doorway, wordlessly refusing to leave the prefecture without the captured heretic. The gendarmes and the captain stand still, awaiting your orders. Father Mark is lounging in the chair, enjoying himself and eyeing you curiously, waiting for your decision on this contentious situation. And that's going to get us up. You tell Sister Jean that, regardless of the situation, legal action is required, and legal action takes time. Make haste, Your Honor. When it comes to protecting faith, my order will brook no delay. The Inquisitor leaves your office, clearly displeased. You are left alone in your office with Father Mark. He is still as calm as before, eyeing you, waiting for you to speak. You admit that Mark, as a priest, has not violated any imperial law with his sermon, and you are no Inquisitor and thus not qualified to judge the truth or falsehood of his teachings. You are demonstrating a will of your own, my friend. Well done, Your Honor. This is your first step towards freedom. Yours, not mine. Your fellow judges won't understand your decision, but you mustn't let that cloud your judgment. Handing me over the Inquisition would spark far more than a single pyre. The Inquisitors would gladly break every imperial law you have. You have protected the authority of the prefecture. Well done. Although I can't say you'll be free of predicament anytime soon, but then again, I'm sure one of my many patrons will be happy to soften the blow with the helping of earthly boons. We have a more pressing matter to discuss right now, don't we? You summon Captain Linad once again and give him your instructions. Father Marcus will be taken to the prefecture jail and mysteriously disappear from his cell during the changing of the guard at night. You will close the case before then, so there will be no need for a manhunt. Linad chuckles knowingly and sets off to follow his orders. You fill out the necessary paperwork. No violation of imperial law found. Case closed, you write. Then file the aborted case against Father Mark away in a box. The Inquisition learns of this only days later. Sister Jean bursts in your office beside herself with rage. You call yourself a judge after this, Sir Brante? How dare you defy the Inquisition? Protecting a heretic like Father Mark shows you for the fool and apostate you truly are. We had him, but thanks to you, the Markian heresy will continue poisoning the souls of those with weak faith. Hundreds and hundreds will follow Father Mark to the foot of the pillar in the hereafter. You will be responsible for their eternal torment, Sir Brante, and rest assured the Inquisition will not forget this. You return home, exhausted by a long day of threats and accusations. What awaits you back home, however, is a pleasant surprise. A treasure trove of fine wine straight from the cellar of Cassius, Patriarch of Megra. Your servants tell you the wine came with your letter. Sir Brante, please enjoy this wine. Savor your earthly life before the twins snatch it away as well.
Year 1141.
The road to the top. This event is a consequence of your previous actions. The road to the top. Your actions result in well-earned progress up the professional ladder. You are expected to have a glorious future in the field of law. You receive more and more invitations to balls and noble gatherings. High-ranking nobles wish to befriend you. Powerful people have been keeping a close eye on your ascent. Today, a personal letter from the magistrate Remy of Vermont is delivered to your home.
Sir Rad Brante, I would like to further our acquaintance and discuss certain matters over a glass of Illyrian. I will expect you at my estate this afternoon.
Accompanied by servants, you walk down the imposing enfilade of Elvermond's granite manor. Gold tapestry, stone carvings of ancestry profiles. Compared to this luxury, your own home seems tiny and cramped. Elvermond greets you by the fire. At home, the influential ruler of the city seems peaceful and amiable.
Judge Brante, pray come in. I am delighted to see you again. Servants, pour us some wine. Please have some, Rad. Though your most recent deeds call for much more than a glass of Illyrian. I'll be frank, after our first encounter, I had my doubts about your trustworthiness, but now you have proven by your actions that you have a future.
You sip the wine. It is excellent, and as expected. You calmly reply that you strive to serve the Empire and the Prefecture faithfully and in the manner you deem proper.
I am overjoyed to see that the younger generation honors our tradition and cares about the fate of our nation. We have that in common, you and I. Many see me as merely power-hungry, but why would power itself be of interest to me? My family is already powerful and healthy. Its position is secure for many generations to come. No, my friend, I need power to save the city that has been entrusted to me from a grave threat. Take a look around. More and more insurgents are preparing a bloody uprising among the common folk. The new faith compels people to defy their lots. The foundation of the Empire has been shaken. What do you think? Will a new world be born from this? Those who hope to see this happen seem to have forgotten that our world was created in accordance with the twins' design, and we are already on the cusp of provoking their wrath.
Elvermond is becoming truly incensed. Apparently, the fate of the Empire is not just a subject of idle chatter to him.
You must understand, Brante, I've seen plenty of starry-eyed idealists yearning to change the world, and I know where those dreams lead. We have trespassed against the sacred order, and now we are on the verge of the wrath of the gods. I am a nobleman and a citizen of the Empire, and it is my duty to save this world from ruin. While the overseer of the Archduke persists in the feudal squabble, the danger is growing. It's time to take matters into our own hands. I'm seeking allies, people who will stand by me to protect the city and the Empire. I hope you have the courage to become one of us. Let me speak plainly. Prefect Elborn is, alas, among those who are dragging us toward our destruction. He aims to subject all the states to the tyranny of the law. He seems to have forgotten that the law must serve the good of the Empire and be a mainstay of order. But Elborn wishes to disrupt this order. He is pushing for the lowborn to gain power. What do you suppose will be the first thing they do once they get it? They'll take up arms and destroy this country. Elborn has doomed himself to a shameful fall. Meanwhile, the city needs someone at the helm of the prefecture who is bound by honor and concerned about the fate of the Empire. You can be that someone, Brante. You can be that someone. You stare at your glass of wine, trying to hide your feelings. If you prove yourself worthy in the future, Sir Brante, I can promise you the post of the Prefect of Megra. I hope you see it not only as a chance to elevate yourself, but also to make your mark on history. Side with me, and together we'll save Anazote from the uprising. If you remain Elborn's servant, you both will lose and fall together.
I can see this turning out well for me.
Year 1141, the guns of Illyria.
Megra has received alarming news from the neighboring province of Illyria. The low-born convicts toiling in the Illyrian mines have revolted against their noble masters. For the first time in many long, peaceful years, commoners have taken up arms. Worse yet, the insurgents had guns and gunpowder, and no one knows how they got them. Gunpowder weapons were banned throughout the Empire as soon as they were invented. The lords deemed firearms dishonorable and unfit for the nobles. Even Legion soldiers are forbidden from using them. But now gunshots were echoing through the mutinous Illyrian mines. The Imperial Legion was deployed to quell the riot. The Legionnaires slaughtered the rebels without mercy, and the uprising choked to death on its own blood before it even began. The south of Illyria is now a forest of gallows. The convicts' corpses were left swaying in the wind as a warning to any commoner who might dare to take up arms. Although the rebellion quickly succumbed to the Imperial military's onslaught, many Legion soldiers and officers were slain by the insurgents' firearms. Their steel armor was no match for bullets. The rioters' weapons were destroyed in a public ceremony, but no one knows who built or smuggled them into the mines. All Imperial overseers soon issued public reminders to their provinces. The punishment for owning a gunpowder weapon is true death by execution. But the Empire is still restless, still anxious. Somehow guns found their way into the commoners' hands, if only for a short time. Could gunpowder and lead one day endanger the old ways of the Empire? Authorities of Megra fear that unrest may soon spill over here. Due to the double tax, peasant farms and industrial manufactories are facing harsh times. The province's wealth is steadily declining, but the discontent of the commoners is still held back by the eternal lot that demands they accept their suffering.
Misery and devastation.
Hey, we need to get that wealth up. Get your money up before you get your funny up, brother. You arrive at the office one fine morning and find a visitor already sitting there. The visitor is none other than Thomas Guerrero. His heavy uniform already bears a captain's chevrons.
Chevrons?
Thomas looks nervous, his fingers drumming a foreboding staccato on the desk. Why has your old friend decided to pay you a visit? You pat your friend on the shoulder and congratulate him on his promotion. Thomas shrugs, quietly brimming with pride. That's awesome, man. I got bumped up a month ago. Apparently the Legion is running short on decent officers. And then I realized where there are so few of them. Wish I knew my direct superior was going to be our very own commander, Otten. Thomas grows grim at the mention of Otten. Listen, buddy, you and me, we always help each other out, right? That Arctian bastard, well, he challenged me to a duel for the second time. He cut me down a month ago. That was my second lesser death. Damn! Second? I know I never told you, but it was tough. The gods, they spoke to me there, in the hereafter. Right now, I got something worse to worry about than matters of the soul. See, Otten, he remembered me from the time at the academy when I stood up to him at the party. Now he's gonna kill me again and again until my true death comes. So it's a duel. That's Otten's way of having fun with his subordinates. Rad, I'm asking you as a friend. Will you be my second at the duel? I knew Prefect Elborn doesn't like any kind of sword fighting. It's one of the old traditions he wants to put to a stop. But if I show up without a second, he won't just kill me for a third time. He'll dishonor me too. You knit your brow in thought. In the Prefect's opinion, dueling is a lawless tool of noble tyranny. Elborn sees duels as an outmoded way of circumventing the legal system. He would be crushed to learn that one of his judges has been involved in a duel. Thomas sighs heavily. I know this is hard, pal, but
I've got no one else to turn to. All the boys in the Legion fear Auden like the plague. You're the only noble who can support me in this. But I know this duel won't be the end. Our great Sir Rad will find an excuse for a third duel before you know it. That'll be my last one for sure. Oh man. Thomas rolls up the sleeve of his uniform. 2 pitch black lines encircle his forearm. He's desperate, and it is easy to see why. 1-on-1 against an Arcanian swordsman, he's doomed. Yeah, you're right. Yeah. The law forbids dueling. But if you refuse to show Thomas your support through your presence, your friend's spirit will be broken before his body can even be killed. You recall the previous encounters with Auden in your youth. Is there a chance the distinguished Arcanian still remembers you? If you go to him and speak in Thomas's defense, will he even bother to listen? I don't see a reason not to, so we'll do this, and if it doesn't turn out okay, or in line with what our character is, then maybe we'll do it over again. You've been best friends with Thomas ever since you were little boys. Does he really think you would abandon him to such a cruel fate? Maybe I should have, actually. Of course, you will be his second at the duel. No matter what, your friendship will not be broken. Not even if you risk Prefect Elborn's displeasure. See, I tried to break our friendship already. As the two of you walk to the palace ruins, you finally have time to ask Thomas for some more information. What was Auden's excuse for challenging him to a duel this time? Here's what happened. Auden told me to head to a nearby village with a squad of Legion soldiers. Somina, it's called. The villagers refused to pay the Archduke's tax, said they already paid the tax to Gaius Tempest's men. He's the overseer, so the law says the tax is his. So Auden told me and the lads to string up a couple of the rowdiest peasants and put their houses to the torch to teach the rest of them a lesson. So we went there, and let me tell you, buddy, I didn't join the Legion to start hanging people and burning villages. So we decided to have a word with the village elder first. The locals soon realized what was going on. Losing money is one thing, but losing a spare life is worse. They hemmed and hawed and finally found enough cash to pay Archduke Melanitis. Which means we came back to Anazote with nobody dead and all the money for the treasury. But then the commander summons me and claims I didn't follow his order, which means I also slighted the honor of the noble Arcanian who's my commander. So he challenges me to a duel. And you know what? I'm not the first, Rad, and I'm not the last. Any officer of the Legion could end up like me. Auden does as he sees fit with no plans to stop. He's a commander. He's a noble of the sword. He's an Arcanian. We're just dirt under his boot. Who's gonna rein him in? You reach the side of the duel just before dawn. By a half-crumpled wall, you see a tall figure clad in a thick cloak. Glorious Auden, High Commander of Magra, already expecting you. His azure fingers drum impatiently on the pommel of his sword. Thomas dutifully bows to his commander. Auden grimaces at him. You're late, Captain Guerrero. Why should I have waited? Why should I have to wait for you? You've insulted me again already, and who's this? I've seen your face before. Anyways, we don't have time for this. Make haste. I have other duels today. Commander Second appears from the shadows, a young nobleman, quiet and eager to oblige his betters. As seconds, you ask the duelist if they are ready. Without a word, Auden draws his sword. Thomas nods anxiously, clearly ready to face another death. The two bow ceremoniously and adopt a dueling stance. The difference between them is apparent as soon as they begin. Auden's sword seems like an extension of his arm. Thomas paled before him like a clumsy child who's grabbed his father's sword for the first time. Everything about this battle shows that Auden treats this duel as no more than entertainment. The Arcanian moves around so rapidly and gracefully, your friend can barely defend himself against the flurry of strikes. Then, for the smallest moment, Auden tones down his assault, and for the first time during the duel, Thomas makes a riposte? Riposte. Easily, effortlessly, Auden deflects Thomas's blow and then retaliates. His sword sticks through your friend's shoulder. As soon as you see the blade drew blood, you shout for the duel to end. The debt for the insult has been paid in blood. If the loser of the duel is ready to offer his apology, the fight must stop. What? Is some human trying to teach me the laws of the duel? I am an Arcanian of the Auden dynasty. There is no one here who can teach me the ways of honor. The sword flashes and stabs your friend straight through the heart. Oh shit. A wet red spot begins to spread across Thomas's shirt. Your friend stumbles backward. He drops his sword and his knees buckle. A wheeze, then a cough full of blood, and his bright eyes grow dim and dull. Oh no. Slowly, Thomas's body disappears. His blood-stained clothes, his sword, and his footsteps in the dust are all that remains. Auden hands his sword to the second, who's ready to wipe it down. Well then, the pitiful human will face another duel very soon. Let's hope he fights better during his last life. When your friend is reborn, tell my exact words. The Archnean walks away, calm and composed, his second in tow. Dazed and numb, all you can do now is gather your friend's belongings and bring them to his house. Unless you intervene, Thomas is doomed to meet his true death soon. You are a judge, but to an Archnean of such rank and birth, your authority means nothing. Is there any way you can help your friend? Yeah, maybe I shouldn't have done this. Nothing happened. I didn't get to fight. I mean, I don't care about this guy, but I got his relationship down more. I didn't really do anything for him. The day after your meeting with Thomas, time slows to a crawl. As you examine one case after another, you cannot help but think back to your friend and his fate. Again and again, there's a knock at the door. Baron O'Born, the prefect, has decided to pay you a visit. I have a matter to discuss with you, Brante. Would you mind if we take a walk? It's getting a bit stuffy in here. The prefect clearly wants to discuss something in private. You walk down the stairs together and leave the prefecture. Soon the two of you are walking down the noisy streets of the Brass District. The wind is strong today, the gray sky mercifully overcast. The people around you are battering, buying, and selling eagerly. The streets are full of craftsmen and factory workers. Merchant carts squeak as they roll down the streets. The head of the prefecture looks more worried than usual, lost in thought as he observes the bustling street life around him. Brante, do you recall we talked about the tyranny and the nobility in the province? Dorius Auden, the High Commander of Magra, is on a murder spree. He challenges his subordinates to a duel for the slightest infraction and slaughters them with impunity. If our law is unable to protect anyone from the violent tyranny of the Archneans, who will ever respect the law? It's time we put an end to this. As long as I'm in charge of the prefecture, establishing the rule of law over people of all estates and titles is our most important task. But people like Auden stand in our way, people who think themselves above the law. We need to prove them wrong. I have been informed that Naughton has pressured your childhood friend, Captain Thomas Guerrero, into a duel, and I believe Sir Guerrero has sought your assistance in private. Am I right? You admit that is so. Indeed, as an old friend, Thomas is counting on you to defend him. And so, young Brante, I believe that to be reason enough to entrust this case to you officially. If you find yourself doubting your abilities, know that you are my best candidate. No other judge would have the courage to prosecute an Archnean. That, and I trust you more than any ordinary judge. I spoke to your father, but even he would not accept this undertaking. He says your family has worked too hard to be ennobled by the sword to risk it all now. But you bear no such burden, do you? Well, I might. As it stands right now, sentencing an Archnean into even the smallest punishment is unthinkable. But drop by drop, water can wear down any stone. We will make our way to Odd, but we must do it slowly and carefully. What we need is a perfectly prepared case. We need you to find enough incontrovertible evidence that even enough witnesses who are willing to testify in court. But I'm sure you realize that even this won't be enough to force an Archnean to go to trial, don't you, Rad? We have to change the unspoken rules in our city and province. We'll start with lower-ranking people, lower-ranking cases, and little by little we'll establish rules that even high-born nobles will have to obey. All of a sudden, O'Born stops, standing in the middle of a street bustling with life. He points out a number of commoners hurrying about their business. Just look! All these people need to know that there is such a thing as justice. The law must apply to them, no matter their lot. Whether suffering, praying, or ruling, they need to know they can rely on us judges to enforce the law against anyone and everyone. I'm counting on you for this, Sir Brante. You stand motionless as O'Born studies you intently. From now on, from this moment forth, you will prosecute a case against the High Commander of Magra, a highborn Archnean from an ancient dynasty. This is a pivotal moment in your destiny and your career. You could rise higher than ever or plunge into obscurity and ruin. You decide to talk about Thomas and his fate. Right now, he represents your best chance at getting Otten indicted, but there is absolutely no guarantee he will live to speak at trial. If you are to oversee this case, ensuring his safety has to be the first thing you do. This is true. You're right, Brante. We need Thomas Guerrero to see this to the end. But remember, this is about more than just your friend and his fate. This is a matter of law and justice for the entire province. The peril to Sir Thomas's life is great indeed, but if you openly defy the High Commander right now, your standing will suffer accordingly. You can find a safe shelter for Sir Thomas away from Otten, but if Thomas remains in the city, he might be of use when you begin looking for Otten's other victims. I realize you are looking for a way to rescue your friend, but right now we must all use caution, lest our entire cause suffer. What say you, Rad? What is your plan? He can protect himself, hopefully. You informed the prefect that observing Thomas without interference would be the best course of action right now. The time to counter Otten with decisive action has not come yet. You must not put the entire case at risk just to save one man, even if that man is a key witness. In all honesty, Brante, I have to admit you're right. We can only hope Sir Thomas has what it takes to fend for himself. For now, this course of action should keep your position as a judge safe and secure, without drawing the ear of the high nobility. Well, we should get back to work. Begin preparing the case at once. So I have to do this, then. Back at the office, you send a note to Thomas's address, a brief request to visit you at the prefecture as soon as possible. He returns to your office that evening. You have not seen him for just one day, but he looks a decade older. It pains you to see him so downcast. Damn. You explain the situation to him, carefully choosing your words. Otten is well on his way towards being punished for his crimes. You are building a case against the High Commander of Megra, but you need evidence to prove Otten's guilt, and you hope Thomas will help you find it. You are going to do everything you can to stop Otten's murderous rampage, but you have neither the authority nor the connections to protect Thomas at present. Your friend will have to be prepared to fend for himself. Thomas hunches over, his exhaustion showing, and gazes at you dully. Just taking on a case against that Archnean means a lot to me. I agree to bear witness, do whatever you can. Life goes on. I'll go back to the Legion and do all I can to stay out of Otten's way. I'll be fine.
Why? Thomas shakes your hand. It takes him a significant effort to rise from his seat and walk out the door. You remain in your chair, deep in thought. Your friend is still in danger. When will Otten be reminded of his existence next? At least your own position is safe for now. A holy day is coming. A day when the entire Empire thanks the twins for the silver tree, and the sign that they left behind as a reminder of their eternal presence in the world. This monumentous occasion is especially important for Anazote. The clergy cannot agree on how best to celebrate it. Father Lenart has called for all worshippers of the twins to approach the temple of the silver tree and kneel before their sacred relic, but the old clergy balks at the idea of Lenart and the new believers leading the ritual. The day has come. An immense crowd is moving in a procession towards the temple near the silver tree, where Father Lenart awaits. But an inquisitor by the name of Jean stands in their way. She strikes a defiant pose. Confronted by a member of the Holy Order of the Inquisition, the procession reluctantly stops.
I know that girl.
People, turn back! Those who attend Lenart's rite will succumb to the new faith. Those who reject the lots will defy their divine design. You're about to bring the wrath of the gods down upon us all. Open your eyes. Come back to your homes and pray to the twins. The procession wants to move, but the people are confused until Father Lenart himself walks out of the temple to meet Jean face to face.
People of Anazote, no one has the right to deny you the sacred ritual of the worshipping tree. Not even the Inquisition. Is such a denial not more likely to provoke the wrath of the twins? The Inquisition must know that the new faith does not seek to challenge or defy the twins. We are merely trying to correct the mistakes of those who came before us. We do not endanger or anger the twins. We merely vex those who refuse to accept the dawn of the new age. Jean finds herself between a rock and a hard place. Seeing that she has no other choice, she lets the procession pass. The New Faith's numbers have swelled of late. Cannot be stopped now.
Yikes!
Today is an important holiday. The entire empire is celebrating the festival of the Silver Tree, which commemorates the parting gift to the twin gods, the divine sapling they planted in our mortal world, in the middle of Anazote. The families of the city spend the day in peace and quiet, contemplating the divine roots and join together all people, their bloodlines in the entire empire. Mother always oversees this holiday. The day before the festival, she seemed to have shaken off her usual apathy and engaged in the preparations with excitement. It was as though her illness has loosened its grip. Mother gathers the entire family for the holiday meal. Father is in high spirits today, sharing jokes with you and Nathan. Stefan is trying to suppress an atypical agitation. Gloria is the last to join you at the table. She's wearing new breeches with high stockings and a yellow vest.
Yikes! Gloria, you're wearing men's clothes again.
No, Mother, I'm wearing clothes women are forbidden to wear. Father gives Gloria a stern look. Stefan rolls his eyes but says nothing. Suddenly, Nathan speaks up.
A few days ago, in the market, I saw a grocer dressed as Overseer Gaius Tempest. He had a huge carrot for a scepter. He got a sound rubbing, of course, but until then, it was quite a hoot.
Okay, then. Oh, all right. Good to know. Why is my hair so short? I like this, though. Everybody laughs at the ridiculous story, relieved. Even Gloria has a smile on her face when she sits down. The feast commences. Your home finally feels warm for a moment.
It wasn't so long ago the four of you couldn't even ever reach up to this table. The first word you said, Gloria, was, "Gimme!" Nathan used to cling to my skirt all the time, almost tearing it. And you, Rad, you couldn't talk at all yet, but your piercing stare was so expressive, it felt as if you were talking to me.
Mother looks at Stefan and suddenly grows quiet.
When I met Stefan, he was already 3 years old. He was so serious and a smooth talker to boot. I remember that he had a music teacher, but he was too shy to play in front of me. I used to listen from the next room.
Stefan's face twitches. Your older brother rises and moves to the old harpsichord. His fingers fly gracefully over the keys. A melody fills the house, melancholy and sweet. The last note lingers in the air. Is this the melody? The one that's being played right now? Then silence falls. The family is awestruck. Words fail you all. Who wrote that? A nobleman from the capital between drinking a... Oh, sorry. I need to say this a little different. Who wrote that? A nobleman from the capital between drinking a glass of wine and beating a servant? Your sister's cutting remark puts an end to the warm, cozy atmosphere. Stefan calmly turns to face her. No, it was I who composed this piece of music. It is called Mother. Mother rises to her feet. She would have needed help to do so, but now she treads unassisted towards Stefan and draws him close. Stefan puts his arms around his stepmother's waist, then detaches himself awkwardly. May the twin gods bless you, Lydia. May they bless you good. Gloria considers this scene with thinly veiled fury in her eyes. Of course, highborn nobles like Stefan are made for the arts. They're the only ones lucky enough to have a soul and experience inspiration. Unlike us, the lowborn, we aren't supposed to feel anything but suffering, let alone express it in poetry. Oh man. Everyone notices that Gloria is clutching pages filled with writing, her poems. Your sister casts a mournful glance, or glace at the family, and her eyes rest upon you. Gloria is about to continue, but you intervene. Gloria will not recite her poetry. How many times do you have to
reiterate that your sister may not violate the commoner's lot. Yes, you understand that she is dissatisfied with it, but there are other things to think of here. Things such as public order or the reputation and safety of this family. You can't just live as though none of those things existed. Your reprimand takes Gloria by surprise. She flushes red with fury and clasps the pages to her chest. So you're of the same mind as Stefan, Rad. I'm not allowed to bear your name, but I still have to bear all the responsibilities that come with it? What hypocrisy. Don't say things you'll regret. Everyone, calm down, please. Gloria runs around, or out of the room, outraged and tearful. The family freezes in place, dumbfounded. I don't feel so well. Nathan's son, please help me to my room. Mother leaves the room, leaning on Nathan's arm. The celebration is cut short. Ooh, a rendezvous with Octavia. Okay. Beautiful as always. Thank you for blessing me with your presence. Octavia and you do not need to see each other every hold on. I just had Octavia and you do not see each other very often. Sometimes as the days wear on, you forget about your unusual liaison. But then the Archduke's daughter bursts into your life and you abandon yourselves to passion until she disappears again. Today Octavia is waiting for you at her summer home in the city. It is a cozy little villa, well concealed from prying eyes by a high fence. Beyond the fence is a glorious garden. You have never seen one so beautiful in Magra. Octavia meets you on the veranda. She is wearing a light white frock that leaves her shoulders exposed. Her black hair cascades down her back. You bow to Lady Melanitis. She grins and draws you toward her so that you sit down by her side. Ooh, shoulders. The sun is melting beyond the horizon. Octavia commands her servants to leave you alone. Tonight she is strangely pensive, barely touching her food and drink. You cautiously inquire if anything is amiss. Listen to me, Rad. I'm at a crossroads. My father, the Archduke, is planning to send me out of Magra for a while. Apparently, in his opinion, my escapades are bound to cause trouble for our family. Octavia stands up, towering above you, her eyes burn with a menacing flame. I am a daughter of the great family of Melanitis, an Archnean born at the peak of the world. All shall tremble before me. Isn't that so, Rad Brante? But before you can reply, Octavia abruptly lowers her head, downhearted. I am not free. Just like you, my dear human Brante, I have a duty to my family, to my blood tide, to the Empire. My whole life, all I've ever done is fulfill obligations created by others. I have no aspirations. Everything is preordained. The world is like how I ought to live, but my father doesn't decide for me. Those two up on the peak of the shining pillar already have. I'm looking for a way out of this cage. It must exist. I study history, but all I find are tidbits of lost knowledge. But I believe that I'm not the first to try to escape the chains of this world. What am I to do, Rad? You yearn to break free of the fetters of fate just as I do. You escape the commoner's lot and join the higher estate, but your new lot is just as much of a prison, isn't it? Could it really be that none of us will ever really be free? Octavia looks into your eyes dolefully. You have never seen her so helpless before. You ask Octavia about the lost knowledge she's been seeking. I mean, this makes sense, no? It gives me everything. You carefully inquire about the lost knowledge Octavia is speaking of. What is she trying to find in these ancient manuscripts? Octavia responds with a playful smile. She takes your hand and leads you into her chambers. There, under the flickering candlelight, she covers you with a semi-transparent, gold-colored veil. Then she puts a mysterious mask of the same color over your face. Uh-oh! Uh-oh! Don't speak. He'll understand. Let me in. Whoa! Whoa! Siren's going off. I don't like this.
Octavia intertwines her fingers with yours and starts singing. You've never heard this language before. The song is slow and human. At first, nothing happens. You listen to Octavia's song, watching the glimmer of the candlelight on her face and the walls of her chamber. Everything is gently shifting. And when she cometh near, do not but hasten towards her. Octavia's lips are not moving. The words seem to take shape inside your head by themselves. The skin of your limbs have taken on a different hue. Now it is blue like that of the Arcanians. What? Who is sitting opposite you? Octavia? Yourself? You cannot tell anymore. Everything has become one. Oh, so I'm kind of seeing from her point of view as well. The world fades away and shatters. Your bodies, the walls, the rooms, the buildings, the city, everything grows pale and dissolves into the light. All of it, the lots, the empire, the twin gods themselves. It is but a dream. I think this is the... So I encountered this in a previous playthrough. I think that this is like an old magic, like an old I think before Arcanians or humans or whatever, or it's like a different religion, I think. I think they like wear like animal masks or something like that, or I don't know. They just do a lot of like weird other like race, religion, whatever it is things, and I think this is a part of it. She might be a part of that. And you have wandered through this dream all of your life. You come to your senses in the dead of night in Lady Melanitis' bed. She's lying beside you, asleep, naked, her black hair spilled across the pillow. You run your trembling fingers over her skin. Why am I trembling? Octavia is sleeping soundly. Affection! Interesting. Okay, well, at least I'm prepared for anything.
Year 1142.
News from the capital quickly reaches every corner of the empire. Girion and Flavius, the heirs to the throne, have left the emperor's palace for the province of Mania, which is ruled by the great chancellor, Agrarius Monrogue. The great chancellor has accused the emperor's court of harboring malefactors, conspiring against the imperial heirs. This is why he has offered them shelter and safety in his own impregnable citadel. And the common people are particularly worried by the news. They take it as a sign that the chancellor is seeking to solidify his power by holding the heirs hostage. If this continues, Monroe could coerce the emperor into revoking the imperial law, thus depriving the commoner state of any and all rights. All hope for reform in the empire has vanished. From farmer to rich industrialist, the commoners are growing desperate. In your province, the authorities are trying their best to put the people at ease. The magistrate of Anazote makes a speech from his balcony to the excited crowd below.
Trust your emperor, good people. The imperial heirs are the future of the great Tempest dynasty. The emperor has made the wise decision to send them far away from the scheming court. Great Chancellor Monroe will take good care of them and keep them safe. All glory to the empire. All glory to the Tempests.
All right, that is all for today, and I hope you enjoyed. Please have a very rad day, and stay cool.